That's all you get for elevator music, Jason. That's it. That's my elevator music. Missy. Usually I'm like, hey, Missy's on. Now Missy's on.
Now I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
I can.
Can you hear him?
Can you hear me, Missy?
Hang on. Can you hear us now, Missy?
Okay.
I think it's you. I can hear him.
I can hear her.
We can hear you. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Jeremy tried to bail on me tonight. Brett is driving from Texas or somewhere. Go. Can you hear us? No, Missy? Oh, I think she froze up. Let me remove her. Come on, Missy. I think it might be your internet. Let's kick her.
Cleaning the powder out. So bear with me. I'm going to mute myself, Chris.
Oh, there she goes. Jeremy is reloading as we speak. Yeah, it looks like Missy froze up. Tonight, okay, we got other people coming on. Brett's not available, and I tried to get on his channel and go through it, but it did some weird stuff when I did a test today. So we figured we'd just come on mine. So I put a note. I put a note on the other channel and said, go over to this channel. There's Missy. There's Missy. Can you hear us now?
Now I'm on there.
I think you just froze up is all it was. We could hear you. You couldn't hear us.
No. Your mouths were moving, but I wasn't hearing anything.
That's probably
My wife, if my wife could do that on purpose in real life, I'd be married the rest of my life to her. Probably.
You'd be happy.
She'd be happy. No. So Brett's on his way from somewhere. He's going to try to make it. I tried to get on his. Didn't work. So I just start sending out invites. And we're just going to talk about the life of a houndsman. And I figured who else better than Missy Fix and Jeremy. Rowdy will probably, Jared will probably jump on. I don't know about Rowdy. He might be working. I don't know if Dustin from Cold Strike will jump on. Let me promote that guy real quick. Because I think we're going to get together and
today.
do some deals. I know I always wear my hat. I got another one, but I left it at home. I was only supposed to be down in Phoenix working for a week. Looks like I'm going to be here for a couple months. But I did bring my mules and hounds. So I do got another video coming up that we got both my son's bears. And then the next video I was out there trying to find there's a cave out there that one of my buddy's buddy was drunk back in the 90s. Supposedly found this cave in this area that was full of Indian pottery. Like full. Then I start thinking, dang, there's a myth from the Australia Mountains that they had a bunch of gold, and the guy, Don, I remember his name right now, took off. The cavalry was coming in, the United States Army. This is back in the old days, and he took off to Mexico. He buried his gold somewhere. Him and two other guys. They killed the Indian guy with him, the scout. And then his men killed him and took the map. But if it was me and I was going to hide it, and we were in an area today where they would have maybe passed through. So we're like looking at landmarks. I was like, I will do a landmark. I would do a landmark. There's a bunch of weird rocks. I said, man, and I wouldn't put an X on the spot. I would just put, there's Jared. I would just put an X near it, the mountain range. But they killed the guy, the leader of the pack, went back and couldn't find the gold. So, no, it's not the Irish gold, it's the Mexican gold. And where's Brett? Brett
Oh.
is probably on the road, and he said, I'll be there. But when I talked to Benny, who will be on probably shortly, he said Brett is nowhere close. So I tried to get on the interview stories and tell the manager on that, and I was signed in. I don't know. It did something weird when I tried to go live on his StreamYard. So today I did go to work, kind of, which I handled it by the time we got there, but went there anyways. On our way back, we kind of detoured through the mountains. So one day I'm going to go try to find that gold. You know?
Are you talking about the Dutchman's treasure?
No, this is about Juan something or Don. It's right here by the Estrella Mountains in Phoenix. Yeah, there's a gold side, and the army.
I thought you were in the superstitions.
No, that there was no gold in the.
That's down there by you.
That guy had gold somewhere else, and I think he came through the superstitions. Her internet's killing us tonight. Yeah. I think he came through the superstitions.
Okay.
And would come in, but there's a big story behind that too, as far as a couple of Indian guys followed him out or something and murdered him. And
there's a couple people died looking for it.
There's a lot of people that die in the superstitions, anyways, because they like to go out there in the summer. Yeah. You don't go to the superstitions in the summer.
No, that mountain range is just nasty.
Yes,
it is not a nice one.
Internet giving you trouble tonight, Missy?
Oh, yeah. We got a big storm that's coming through, and so it's, I think, kind of screwing stuff up.
This weekend in southern Arizona, not far south, almost though, it was cold.
Yeah, it was not warm.
No, it wasn't warm at all. And Don Joaquin. Oh, there you go. My brother knew what it was. Get up there. He watches my videos. I made a kind of video on it about it back in the day. I'll find that gold one day. One day. So, and then I'll be a better houndsman. And then we were talking about what would you do? Because who was the guy that found what's the gangster's name? He was digging a septic tank and found some had his name right there.
Gotti?
No.
Are you talking about there's a guy down he was down in Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi.
One of the famous gangsters. Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a gangster. He was burying his dog, and he found the world's biggest piece of quartz.
Oh, no! This guy
like
found
1.4 million.
Someone for quartz.
Yeah, this
like
big
what?
Crystal clear piece of quartz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this big old chunk of it, like this big. Dog died, and he went to go bury it and dug that up.
I can't get that lucky.
No. Well, I was talking to my dad. What would you do if you did find that pot of gold or pile of gold? Not Jimmy Hoffa. It was the funny name. Dang it. Not Gumby or Muggsy. Muggsy Biggs. Is that it? Muggsy?
Oh.
I have to look it up. We were just talking about it today. Maybe if they find Jimmy Hoffa, just that body would be worth money. But they won't fiend that body.
No, that one they're not going to find.
They'll never find
I had
that
a
body.
local historian come by here, probably about 30 years ago. And she wanted to metal detect out in my backyard because it's one of the oldest parts of the town. And so she went out there and she spent probably a couple hours, and she came back in, had a bunch of just trash. But then she said, look what else I found. She found a gun that was buried out there. Just a regular revolver.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of odd to find that out there. She found a ring that I lost. And
That could have been the gun that killed Jimmy Hoffa or Muggsy. It's Muggsy Malone. I think it was Muggsy Malone. Down there by where Jared lives, there used to be a hospital, and my uncle was a federal agent down there, and he was walking around. I think is how he found it, and found a little medal. We'd go back there and sift up and dig up, and we found medals, old bullets. Where it was an old hospital, like really old hospital, 1900s, early 1900s. So we found all kinds of medals, marksman, just really cool stuff. I don't know what they've done with it now. That was back in the 90s.
They found old Winchester lever action resting up against a tree in eastern Nevada.
I've heard about the ones growing in the trees where someone
No,
had leaned it against.
this one didn't grow in the tree, but like the forearms, the stock, and everything was all dried out, cracked. Been there forever.
I'll have to find that. I have a picture of a horseshoe in a tree where they probably hung it on a branch at one point, and then it grew into it, and you could just see part of the horseshoe out of the tree. It's in their Globe. It's over in Globe. I know where it is. Yeah, 2017, Arkansas guy dug up $5 million quartz cluster digging up for power lines. That's the guy, the power lines, or was that the guy looking?
Maybe it was that guy. I don't know. I thought it was in his backyard.
Maybe. My brother
Maybe
don't
he was
know
digging
nothing.
for power line. Maybe he was digging for his power line in his house. I don't know.
Maybe. Heard about the one in Nevada. Was that the rifle? You know, if you just, I don't think you could take a lifetime, just me, myself. It was in his front yard. It was, I don't think I could myself just go your lifetime and search every mountain range.
I just remembered this. 1 second.
Do we have to stop for him? Let's just stop the show for Jared. Stop, everybody. Now he has our interest raised.
Well, he's gone. My yard was a Civil War military hospital. Bullets all the time.
I was lion hunting in western Nevada, and I hit an old mine camp in some sheep country. And this is an 1887 hand-blown Dutch gin bottle.
Oh my
with
God.
the stamp.
Cork too, right?
No cork
That's
in it.
cool.
But
no,
yeah,
but it was a cork bottle.
Yeah, and this thing is thick. It is heavy.
Huh.
Yep.
Your wife keeps it close in case you're late.
Dude, I would not want to be hit with it. It wouldn't break, but it'd break my skull.
That's so neat. I love finding old stuff, no matter what it is, even just horseshoes. You know, I've been out in the middle of nowhere and found giraffe shoes, big giraffe shoes. I'm like, yeah, and they probably wagging, one of the trails they pull through here. Anyone read the story about the North Carolina yellow rock? Wonder what it was.
Me too.
Now we have to look that up too. Anyways, Missy, have you been out hunting at all?
Have been getting out quite a bit. Dogs are doing a lot better, but the rabbits are kind of hit and miss on whether you're going to get good runs or not.
This time of year when it cools down, do they hide out a little more or?
Not normally. Usually they're just right up against the edge of the briars. And because we go out really, right before sunup. And so as soon as that sun peaks over, they start getting to the edge of the briar patches to get a little bit of heat coming off the sun. But I don't know. We've had a really screwy couple of 3 years down here. I think there was some disease that went through and just decimated the population.
What kills them?
This year, pardon?
What kills them? You said it before. Something that comes through in there. What is it?
It's a blood disease. I can't remember what it's called now, but it only, a lot of times it'll only affect the cottontail, when it comes through. I don't know. And I think I saw it one other time back in the early 2000s, where the population went way down. Our brush bunny population stayed the same. Apparently it doesn't affect them. But this last one it's some disease that was from the East, but domesticated rabbits, people, traveling the country and that showing their rabbits, contracted it, brought it out here, and then it got into the wild population. And so it really took out all the rabbits. I walked around the place that I hunt. It's an old military fort or camp, I guess. And it's 1,700 acres. And I walked around there for 5 hours with my dogs, and they never opened once. So, but this year the population, it's starting to come back, it looks like. So we're seeing a lot of young rabbits, juvenile type size. So hopefully it'll continue to grow back to getting to normal again.
You sure that the rabbits don't turn their sin off?
I heard a guy.
Is this the licking the paw one?
Yeah, the guy that I used to hunt with a guy, and we were up in the mountains, and they were running snowshoe hare, and they were doing great. And then all of a sudden, everything just kind of shut down. And the friend that was with us, he turned to me and he said, "They're licking their paws. That's what's doing it." And I didn't understand. I'd never heard that before. And then when you guys started talking about it, it's like
someone else brought that up. Someone else brought it up on the show.
Oh my
Rowdy
God!
did.
Who was it?
Rowdy.
Oh, it was. Maybe it was. That's your friend. That's your friend, Jared. Where's Rowdy? Is he working?
Yeah, he's working.
Jared just caught a lion. Didn't you just catch a lion?
Yeah, I caught one yesterday. I lucked out.
Rabbit disease is called bordetella.
That's it.
That's crazy. What's crazy about a lot of these people? Animals will fend for themselves. Now, a domesticated dog that you open a can of food for every day, you let him go, he may not survive. But if you have a pack of dogs out there, they will survive. I've seen it. I grew up in Maricopa, Arizona, and we had packs of dogs. I'm talking packed. You would see 15 packs, 15 at a time. That was a small pack. I've seen them up 20 or 30,
Wow.
So they will survive. Just like there was a guy who had rabbits, and some rabbits had gotten loose. And he would call when I was a kid. He'd call and say, "Hey, come get these rabbits." He had hundreds of rabbits under his house. So those domesticated animals that everybody, they're already worried about the wild horses. It's not that the wild horses are starving because there's no food. It's starving because they eat all the food, and they breed like one a year, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. My brother comes home one time, and he was in a Isuzu rodeo, and he's excited. He says, "Hey, come look at this. Come look at this." And he was out. He goes, "Come look at this." I go over there. He opens the back of his Isuzu back seat, and there's a baby horse in the back seat. He was going to shoot it. He thought it was a coyote out there, and he went to shoot it, and he's like, "Man, why isn't that coyote running?" So he walked in, looked, nothing. Finally walked up, and then it was an abandoned baby horse. And he had this horse for a few weeks before it died. Probably colicked up. It wasn't pooping very good. But it's crazy. They will survive. These animals are surviving if they're not surviving. And you see, and I only bring this up because
just look at the Mustangs in Nevada. They came from the Spaniards. They were domestic horses that came from the Spaniards.
And those are actual, probably feral horses. There's a difference, right, between feral and wild?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So in Cholo, Arizona, they had that big fire, and I swear, you just let your horses go. I'd rather my horses get run and have a chance than getting burned if you can't get out of there. So, but man, they blew up here, and everybody's, it's them range, it's them reservation horses. They're wild. They're not. They're just, you could walk up to half of them and feed them out of your truck.
That's what happens
You know,
when square bale prices hit $25 a bale.
that is 100% fact too. That is 100% fact.
I
Yeah,
thought
we
that
saw.
the BLM was doing an oversight on the mares to prevent them from getting pregnant.
They're trying to. I mean, shooting them with the sterilization darts or whatever.
Yeah, giving them the oversight. I thought that because back in the early 2000s when I was in college, my senior thesis was on the feral horses out here in Oregon. And so I had to do research, and I called BLM and talked to a fellow over in Burns. And he was telling me that, they started a program, maybe it's just up here back then, where they were given an oversight to prevent the mares from getting pregnant because the populations were growing too fast.
I don't understand.
It, but I don't know if anyone's ever done it yet in Nevada.
What I don't get is
I
if
know
there's
they
such
just took 2,500 head off one mountain range in Nevada.
2,500, and it's not even a dip in the water jug.
What do they do with the feral horses once they round them up? They auction them off.
Yeah, like they go to the prisons. Like you go to Carson Prison, they have the prisoners will actually go out and break the Mustangs, and then you can adopt those.
My buddy used to do that.
Wild, yeah.
My buddy was one of them lead guys.
The BLM was they would adopt them out if they were 2 years or younger, and if they were older than 2 years, then instead of doing whatever they do, I know the hanging on to them, but he said that they hung on to them, and it cost them $2,000 a month per horse to maintain it. And he said, we can't kill them, we have to keep them.
Yeah. Now the $2,000 is probably their whole program, because a month it only cost me about $80 to $100 to feed them.
Yeah, but you also got to pay a guy to feed them.
But and house them and water them and all that.
Yeah, it's all the maintenance that each horse costs.
I know there's some holdings of I can't even say the word, facilities in Reno, I think they're full. But I mean, Nevada was supposed to only have like 5,000 or 10,000 wild horses, and we're up to 65,000 or 90,000 wild horses in Nevada. There's more wild horses than deer and elk combined almost.
So why don't they take 30 of those 30,000 of those, take them to California and take 30,000 bear and take them to Nevada.
Right.
That will even it out. Give it time.
Why don't they knock them all in the head?
Well, what I see, everybody gets mad about the slaughterhouses, but
a big deal.
All these products that everybody's using, the makeup and the glue factory and the dog food, or just people wanting to eat horse. People get all butthurt about it, so they can't say they're.
Oh.
And I'm telling you right now, there's probably a lot of them that still go to the slaughterhouse. So they pick up these horses. They do. They
go to Mexico.
Exactly right.
Or Canada.
They go to Mexico or Canada.
Well,
but
you got to get them off.
These are not wild horses. They're not wild horses. They're feral. And Chris, you hit it right. On the Rodeo Chetasky fire, because I worked the fire, and then I went back in the country after the fire and did a bunch of the mop up, and they tore out all of the culverts that were back there in the woods, and we put in low water crossings and keyed in a bunch of those concrete blocks from the gravel companies and all that.
Yep.
And there were 2 bands of horses, and I told the guy that was with me we should shoot those horses. We were the only ones there for 5 months. There was no one else back there, and we should have whacked those horses. And now look, so it's my fault.
Well, I don't understand if there's such a problem. Well, adopting a horse is out of control. Like, you could probably adopt a kid quicker than you can adopt a damn horse or a dog anymore. So I don't understand why they say, go get them. If you want them, go get them. Buy a permit, $50. And then you go out and you get to catch a horse.
You gotta have
Yeah.
like an 8-foot tall fence or 6-foot tall
Tate.
panels to keep a Mustang in before they'll let you have one.
Nope, I feel
You know where,
stupid.
the
Hmm.
biggest contractor for housing all of these feral horses is? It's in
Who'd
Oklahoma,
that be?
and all of us off of our tax paying money are financing. And I got nothing against these people. They're just the ones that are capitalizing on it. That pioneer woman, what's her name? Ree Drummond,
Yeah.
her and her husband. They are the nation's largest
Yeah.
contractors for housing those feral horses, and they BLM just keeps shipping more to them, and they keep buying more ranches.
And who's paying for that?
We
Us.
are taxpayers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what does it say? It costs more to adopt a horse than buying it. That's fact. That should be just let people go out there and get them. So the reservation in Navajo Res was going to put permits out on horses, and it was like $5. It was like some dumb permit. You can come shoot them, catch them, whatever. I think it was. I was ready. I told my buddy, I said, let me know because I'll go get a horse and feed my dogs. Be honest. Half those
Oh, yeah.
horses, I don't even, you'd probably have to fatten them up before you even butchered them. They were
Yeah.
pretty bad. Just like in
You
Nevada.
can. Well, Nevada, you can go in the mountains in Nevada and still find old Mustang traps that the Indians used.
Mhm.
Set
used
the
to buy
corrals
those-
at spiral.
I used to buy them Mustangs off the Gila Indian Res, $20.
Mm-hmm.
You take them home. I'm gonna tell you what, man. The Mustangs are one of the best horses. I don't care what they look like. Most of them are big boned that I got. The Navajos got some short. They're short, but they're big boned. But once you get a one of them ponies that trust you, they'll do good for you.
Yeah.
That's all I have. That's all I have is Mustangs and donkeys, horses or mules. You know, if I could breed.
If you get a good Mustang with a square head on them, not something that thinks there's a booger around every tree, they are awesome.
I have them. I have one. My oldest Navajo Mustang, we call her Mama Horse. I put my kids on. They go, my son will go out and saddle her up. He's 10 and not even saddle her right. How he hadn't fell off or that saddle hadn't went under that horses. I call her the mule of donkey because she looks like a damn mule. If I could breed, I should run over to that. There's a guy over here. I should breed his mammoth to her because every foal we got out of that, I bred her with a Persian Mustang. We hardly had to break. Like there was no bucking. It was throw a saddle on and ride these horses. Very, very calm horses, you know, and she's 22 now, but my kids, you know, they go out there, catch her up when she lets them catch them. But what do I have? I had a bunch of her babies. I think I don't have much of her. I got the Persian. My son has the Persian Mustang. And then I have a BLM. Someone gave my dad a Mustang, gave my dad, and he wanted to make bear bait out of it, basically. And I said, let me have that horse. And I'll tell you what, if you go to my video where we're roping, that black, I think I have it on here. That big black, well, not big, but that black Mustang they're riding around on. He was being a booger, so I put spurs on. And he would try to turn around and bite you, and you kick him in the face, and he'd grunt and try to do something like buck. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he was just as calm. So, but they should. I mean, it's such a problem here. Come get them. Get as many as you want. Make it someone else's problem. You know, make it where you have to keep them. I think you do have to keep them a year, right?
Yeah.
2 years, 1 year.
I think it's a year.
And then you can sell them. But most of the time, my buddy worked at the prisons and would teach the inmates how to break horses. And then I think he would enter contests with it. He did that Mustang contest. So it's kind of cool.
I think that's a big deal down at Florence, isn't it?
Yep, that's where he was. He did that in Florence for a while. So that's your government. Let's spend a ton of money
on nothing.
Benny, Gold West Slaughterhouse on 59th Avenue south of Van Buren, Horseman.
How long has that been there?
Are they even still open?
Yeah, because I used to live at 59th Avenue and Roosevelt, and that's right there.
I lived at 67th Avenue at the auction every Saturday. That was cars and stuff, man. Me and my dad used to be auction junkies, and now he found one online. Every Friday he goes and picks up all his stuff he buys. Jesus. At auction, I'm not a gambler. I'm not a smoker. I'll smoke a cigar on here. But if I'm out of cigars, I don't smoke cigars for a month. You know? Oh, it's gone now. Richard, no, down there. I figured. There's just no reason for it. And then you get these, they got all this horse protection program like they're a native animal, but these people are, there's a, it's on Facebook, the Salt River wild horse.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, they'll name these horses and ponies like, oh, Shadow's gone. Has anybody seen Shadow? Oh, yeah. The mountain lion seen her that's running up and down that river. It's just crazy.
That's another thing. That's just so crazy because the Forest Service and the BLM in Arizona, it's mostly the Forest Service. They've been waging war against the rancher for how many decades now? Forever. And a horse is more detrimental to the environment than a cow. And now they've got, and their riparian areas are what they used to cut people's numbers so that they couldn't make a living anymore, just to kind of force them to go away. But now these horses, they're living on those riparian areas. They're mucking them out. They're tearing them up. And they're just it's just so nice to see all those beautiful wild horses. And I got nothing against seeing a bunch of wild horses out in the country, or a bunch of horses out in the country. But when they start worshiping the same thing that they use to get rid of the rancher, I start having a problem.
Yeah.
And I've seen what they do when they get down in them stream bottoms. Them springs, they destroy them springs, man. I've seen it.
Yep.
They'll stomp them springs out so the water doesn't come up anymore.
They absolutely will. They absolutely will. You got to fence off around those spring heads just to keep them out of there. But it is what it is. That's our world today. I talked to my dad about it. I'm like, that's what it is. That's what it is. That Proposition 127, that's the people these days. That's where they're at. There's no nature. Their nature is right here watching this. They watch it on YouTube and think it's AI, and AI's taking over anyways. How many movies do you see that they have a real lion in it anymore? It's all computer generated.
Just like those people would rather have a lion die of starvation than us shooting it when it's 6-7 years old.
Oh,
those people would rather have wild horses colic with sagebrush in their guts because there's nothing left to eat than just to take them off the range.
I've seen them horses down here on the Gila River Indian Reservation. I've seen them horses eating salt cedar.
Oh, jeez.
And they live, and what they do is, I think too, they come and throw bales of hay, these people, but they don't understand, man. Them horses don't just stop at a flake. You could put out a squeeze of hay, and I guarantee you'd be gone in a day.
Are there any horses like this up around you, Missy?
Nope.
Missy?
Yep.
Can you hear us, Missy?
Oh. Nope. Every once in a while.
Are there any of these?
I think my internet's screwing up, so I think I'm gonna get off of here because I can't hear you guys half the time.
Oh, dang it!
Dang it!
Yep. I'm gonna have to ship you up a Starlink.
Oh, there. All right,
thanks
guys.
for trying to come on.
Yeah. Well, hopefully some other time.
All righty.
See ya.
Thank you. So,
I was just
in
curious with
Oregon,
they get a bunch of these feral horses, and those studs get kind of territorial. What are they going to do to somebody with a pack of beagles or something like that? I mean, our bigger dogs, they could fend off themselves a little bit, but what about those little dogs, beagles and such?
A stud Mustang is scary
Yeah.
because they came into my camp, came around the dogs, started bucking and kicking and screaming. Oh yeah, I didn't do that, but I had to throw rocks at the son bitch to get him out of there.
You pew.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Oregon would be a good spot because I know a couple cattle rancher guys over there, and
Oregon has
in
a couple
Arizona,
Mustang
it's like
programs.
8.1 a section, and whatever it is. Up there, you can have like 40 head an acre. It's ridiculous, but they got the
Well,
vegetation.
it depends on
Nevada
where you
don't
go.
have the vegetation.
Where it depends on where you go in Oregon. You know,
Yeah,
you go to where the Mustangs are, southeast Oregon, southern Oregon. You know, on the Nevada border, same as Nevada. Just
chomp down.
chomp down to nothing, rolling hills, bare mountains with rock.
And those wild ponies over there by Uncle Johnny there, are those wild or are those just feral that got let loose because of a flood, or the fence got tore down because of a flood, or Anyway, I don't know how we get on so many subjects.
Mike Leonard was talking about so they've done some blood work on some of those horses up there around the Four Corners area where he is.
Yeah.
And he said that there's some of them that do show some blood that go way back, but that's a different area. You know, this is back up in the reservations, and it's really been untapped by a bunch of the white man's nonsense. So,
I
and
know.
every tribe is different too, and every chapter house in every, like the Navajo Nation has chapter houses for everything. If Calvin was around, he could explain it better. But the chapter houses are responsible for any given area, and it depends on the people around that area what kind of livestock they're going to have and what happens to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm all about the reason numbers are so bad is because of people. It's because of feelings and their beliefs, and I get it. We're becoming a kind of a weaker minded society.
No, we're not kind of weaker.
Well,
everybody's
It's been past that.
Yeah.
And
we're letting the townies dictate everything, and they don't want us to go tell them in their apartment building how they need to live, but they tell us how we need to live somewhere else, and it's really none of their business and has nothing to do with any of their livelihood.
They just don't get it.
What we got here? Silver Lake, Wild Horse, Washington State's thick forest. Tim sent me something.
Oh.
Washington State's thick forests aren't a place you'd expect to find herds of wild horses. I think they're everywhere, and I think people keep them everywhere, just like the Salt River Project or Wild Horse Sanctuary, whatever they want to call it.
I think Wyoming
we got them here.
I think Wyoming does a good job on the wild horses, though. I think Wyoming rounds them up.
1801, be quiet. Hey, I got a theory about all these horses and how come the federal government's letting them do what they want to do. I think that because of their shoving apex predators down our throats again, that this is the only way that they're going to be able to feed their predators.
Well, put them in. Do they got wolves in Nevada?
They supposedly had one spotted, but I think it turned out to just be a coyote.
Mm-hmm.
But wolves aren't going to make it in Nevada. Nevada's too open.
Yeah. They like to dump them wolves in mountainous areas.
Yeah. Nevada's got mountains, but we also have it's not like Nevada has not a great road system, but it's got a road system. It's not like Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, where you got wilderness that's 80 miles long and 40 miles wide with no roads.
Yeah.
That's, you shoot one pack of wolves at the front there in Montana. You shoot at them a couple times, they're going 10 miles deep and away from everyone.
Yeah. Well, how many lions do you think or how many horses do you think them lions kill in Nevada?
A lot. When I lion hunted in Nevada, now they wouldn't take down they'd take down a 3/4 full grown Mustang. Very rarely would they take down a full grown Mustang, but come springtime when them colts are dropping and all floppy legged,
Yeah.
that's when I'd catch lions off colt kills. Not very often, maybe one a year, but catch them off a wild horse kill.
Harder kicks, right, from a horse probably than a deer.
Oh yeah, I've caught more lions off wild horse kills than mule deer kills in Nevada.
Huh.
I've only caught one lion off a deer kill in Nevada. Everything else has been a bighorn sheep or wild Mustang.
I know Casey told me, he said they couldn't raise colts down there where he was at for the lions.
Lion and bear, maybe?
In that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly the lions. It's been that way on the Arizona desert for years.
He said the bears would pick them up after they were already dead, but the lions would attack. It's something about horse meat. They like the babies the best. So
I think lions they're opportunists, but they also, I've seen where females raising her kittens on beef, and those kittens grow up eating beef. Their mainstay is deer, but it just depends. Like, I got raised on tamales, you'd think, because I love tamales. So, but it's the same kind of deal. It's their whatever their environment is when they were being raised, and they associate that with their next meal. When a female lion's got a bunch of kittens, she takes the kittens to the kill, and so it's
get a taste for that meat.
Yeah.
And another thing is, I don't know, there's some ranches down here do calve year round, but in the springtime on a couple of ranches I hunt down here, when they're dropping calves, the lions aren't killing deer anymore. They're killing those calves just because they're simple.
they're easier.
They're easy. And then come August, when the coos fawns are dropping, they'll start knocking the fawns out. But February, March, April, they're like the one ranch I hunted last year. He lost 7 calves in 2 months. Not a very big ranch. I think he only had about 60, 70 head. But
let me tell you something, Chuck Thompson. Those wolvies, the people who manage those wolves, they'll pick up dead. They'll pick up kills, horses. I've seen it. I know. I've called in stuff, and they've come pick them up and go put them by a den. Mm-hmm. They feed the wolves. That's what I don't get. Dump them. If they live, they live. If you have to feed them,
then they're pets.
It's not. What does that go? Is that just a feral wolf now, or is it a wild wolf?
When I was 21, 22, living in northern Montana, I was sitting at my buddy's archery shop, and there was this guy. He was a trapper in Alaska and Montana. He just kind of went back and forth.
We all quiet. We are getting a few mountain lions here in Missouri. This is the new sighting map the conservation put out. A deer hunter killed one here opening day of. I just read that he just killed one. Is that the line they just killed? I thought it was a hoax.
I thought it came out as a hoax, like was confirmed a hoax, but
I don't know.
They killed one in Arkansas 2 years ago.
Oh wait, is this the one, Chris? Did you see the picture of the lion supposedly killed in Rogersville, Tennessee? One of those were confirmed a hoax, I believe, but I don't doubt it. This is like bears. I don't understand why them bears aren't. You got 60 to 80,000 bears in an area. You would think they would
Well, they caught a bear in the Ruby Mountains in Elko, Nevada this year. A lion hunter did.
Somebody shot the horse close to the res border, had cameras on the carcass, and some woman came out throwing a fit over us being on the cameras. Well, I know a mountain here up here in Cholo, close to. There was a dead horse on that mountain every year, and it used to be a good bear mountain. And there hasn't been a dead horse on there for a few years. I started a rumor and said it was the game warden doing it all, trying to get all of us houndsmen in one area. And then he asked me about it later. I said, yeah, oops. It's just a rumor. Jeez, it's funny. We have bears like we do coons. They closed our season in 2000.
There's a woman over at Forest Lakes, Arizona, that has every one of those. She's got the woods full of cameras, and she's got every horse named. And she knows the lineage, like this stud is the father of that colt and blah, blah, blah. And if there's even a sick horse, she gets on the warpath. I told a buddy of mine that was up there working on Forest Service roads, well, do you know where she waters them? He says, oh, yeah, I know where she waters them.
Right out of her backyard. Get a
wrist rocket. Yeah, get a wrist rocket. I got a pill you can shoot over into that bucket of water. And it'll be her fault they all died.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, did you hear about that?
Go ahead.
Did you hear? I was just, we were just, I don't know where I'm going with this one. It just reminded me of it. But that wolf that was killed in Flagstaff.
Yeah. Oh, who?
The wolf that was killed in Flagstaff.
When was that?
Last week.
I should, being that I'm on a podcast, I should probably pay attention to the news, but I'm really bad, guys. I'm really bad. I know. Someone was like, "Hey, I have
reward on it's ridiculous. You could retire when you catch them, Chris."
Well, isn't it a $50,000 reward or something?
I think it's higher than that. I think it's in six figures.
100,000.
You're gonna have to get out of bed to catch me.
This is how you do it. You find somebody who wants to go back to jail. You have him shoot a wolf, and you get the reward, and you keep his commissary full. Is that conspiracy?
Yeah, buy him all the cigarettes.
This is a satire show for education, for entertainment purposes only. Damn
there
it!
You go.
Guarantee it.
Jeremy, good job on your video and Casey bear and lion hunting.
Thanks.
$100,000 reward.
There you go.
Google Dakota man shoots wolf. You gotta shoot that wolf. You gotta go up to it. You gotta blood stamp your arm with his jaws.
Yeah.
Fall on the ground and call 911. Nobody likes wolves except people who like wolves. That's it.
People
when they
never
like
been
wolves,
around them.
They don't own ranches. They don't eat beef, or they say they don't.
They just
McDonald's.
watch them on TV.
McDonald's isn't true beef.
No, I was gonna say that's not even real beef. McDonald's is actually wolf beef. I think everybody should. No one or wolf meat. Did anybody know that?
I was talking.
They'll probably sue me. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't want it. It'll cause people to quit going to McDonald's, and I'll be sued. I catch a ton of bear just south of Rogersville, Tennessee, towards Greensville, and we never heard of a lion bear fight in the area. Lots of Black Panther sightings. That's because they turn their scent off.
Yeah.
And
they change their color.
They sneak under the cameras. They can smell cameras. Lions can smell cameras.
Yeah. They turn their
just
color
like
to black
chupacabras
at night.
There's so many cameras out there in some of those states.
We all sound like we're from Roswell, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
You watch it. All BS genetics were not 100% ends up not a wolf. I'm just north of 81 of you, Chuck. Yeah, here we go. I thought Black Panthers only on the... Oh, there we go. In the ghettos.
Well, it depends. There are a political group, and they
that is true.
think they're tough, And if you just show up with a 12 gauge, they're not tough anymore.
Just like Antifa. Some lions in Arkansas, but very few bear numbers growing steady. Bobcats seem to be coming back soon. I just think California has enough bear they can catch and transport.
Oh, I talked to you. I don't know if I told you guys. I talked to a guy, and it's a government trapper in California. And what's the number that they're saying they've got 45,000 bears or
No,
65,000
60 to
bears?
80,000. Low number 60.
He said that it's over 85,000 and they don't want the public to know the truth.
Well, it's out there. It's out there.
He said they're never going to make it legal to hunt again, but if they ever did, he said the hunters would never, ever, ever get on top of the bear population in California again.
I think they will. There's some literature out there that says they can, but it's just making it a problem enough. It's just like an intersection. Until there's so many fatalities, they're not going to put in a stoplight.
Yeah.
Everybody
but look
might
what they've
bitch
done
about
with
it.
the lions. They're never going to change the lions. It's a felony to harass a mountain lion in California, and the mountain lions are killing people.
That will change if the government changes. They got to get rid of that moron that's running California. And that
Which one?
is possible. Anyone that's in California running it. That's possible. But the color of the state needs to change just a bit more. And it did change quite a bit. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised that how it changed, the red streak up through there. So,
well, Missy's over there on the sidelines. Let me ask you, Missy. I was trying to ask you when you got off. Have you ever run into any feral horses with your dogs when you were out rabbit hunting or running your beagles? And if you have, how did the horses respond?
Johnny, do you get down in Houston Valley and Del Rio country any? What caliber you loading? They know you're loading.
300 Win Mag right now.
That's for people who can't shoot dead spot.
These are
Big
my
bullets.
favorite.
Yeah. Chuck, I'm in Virginia. Greenville and Rogersville is a little less than 2 hours from me. Well, how did an hour go by already? We haven't even talked about being a houndsman. My goal is to talk about being a houndsman and not just having some dogs. I'm talking in depth, wife, kids, vehicles, money, job. In order to be a great houndsman, you should be single and not have a job.
Rich.
Homeless.
Born rich.
Homeless. Yep. Hey, I whitetail. Who hunt with a 300? You could hunt whitetail with a 220 or 223.
This would be a perfect opportunity to start dissing on the Creedmoors.
I
I
don't
don't own one.
No, my brother and sister, I think, have Creedmoors, but I have a 6.5 Swedish. 6.5. I don't know what the ballistic difference is, but I can shoot anything with my 6.5 by 55 Swedish Mauser. It's a 1970 Mauser with a 31-inch barrel. So I can load some slow powder in it to make that burn all the way down that 31-inch barrel. But elk, no problem. Bear, no problem. I'd probably shoot a moose with it.
Uncle Papa, I love my 300 too, but it's a 300 Weatherby.
But my favorite rifle, which I just started using, and I was actually whitetail hunting with it, is the 30-06, and it's a Swedish 30-06 that my grandfather left me. I haven't touched the sight on it. I shot a deer for him back in the 90s. So green jeans. And this is just a fake story I'm telling for entertainment. And that thing, I never have adjusted that sight. And I shot it last year when I was deer hunting, or the year before. I don't remember. And it was still dead on. And the sight is crooked. So when you're looking at the crosshairs, it's supposed to be like this. They're kicked over. And I left it like that because that's how my grandfather gave it to me. And that's how I'm going to shoot an elk or deer or anything with. Just a fake story I told. But anyways. 308. 308's a beautiful round. It's a 30 caliber. It's a beautiful round. But I mean, honestly, a 22 mag at a lion tree is the best round you can have. I don't even know if it's legal to shoot it unless you can50 has to be 50 grain plus. Jared, do you know? Anybody? 243. So the 243 is just a 6 millimeter.
So
you know what I mean?
Who do you take to the tree with you, Chris? You know, there's been more lions killed with a 22, just a regular 22 round.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's great. Most of the time it's in a tree or on a bluff, like you could do it. It's possible. But if I knew somebody I took it, I would let them do it. But people, I've guided, and I've guided archery hunters and rifle hunters, and they get so nervous. And I think it's because when there's a lion out there 200-300 yards, the lion don't probably see you. You see him standing there, and you have that time. When it's in a tree, they get nervous, really nervous. I get nervous. Every time I come to a new tree, I'm like, hell yeah, you get that butterfly. But a guy with the bow, I don't care how good a guy with the bow is, they get nervous, really nervous. And the angle, 17, I don't like 17s on lions. I don't like 17s on coyotes. I've seen many people. Squirrels, rabbits. That's just my opinion, guys. You can hate me on it, but I'm not a big 17 fan when they came out. I'm a 22 mag fan. I have a video somewhere. My dad shooting a coyote at 450 yards with a 22 Magnum, right in the neck, threw him backwards. I'm not saying how many it took to get to that, but he still shot it.
Now, if you ever get around a 17 Classic, you'll like that.
Yeah, those are pretty nice.
TC Pro Hunter
Super Mag's pretty nice too.
Is that a pistol? Is that TC Pro Hunter a pistol, or is that a rifle?
It's a 300 Win Mag, so I'm guessing it's a rifle.
Sometimes the Thompsons have those, and I need to get one because they have a ham hunt over the counter where I'm at. So if I could find a pistol like the Thompson Centerfire, the Thompson Contender, is that what it is?
Yeah.
The pistol that shoots like the.
They make an encore too.
The Thompson Contender, most of them you can make them a rifle or a pistol. You can screw the buttstock off of them.
Or I guess I could take a, they got the AR-15 pistols. If I can get the AK pistol, I'm an AK fan, man. I will shoot anything with an AK. It's a 30 caliber, accurate, maybe not at 500 yards, but I mean, I grew up in the desert, so we grew up shooting really long range. And I grew up coyote hunting, open sight, as long as you can. If you've seen dust in the horizon from the sun, you took a shot.
When I was a teenager, we'd go up between Ash Fork and Seligman on the old road and shoot prairie dogs. And I had an 8mm Mauser with open sights. Man alive, that was a lot of fun.
But as far as bear, I think 30-30 is just the best you can do. That 45 did good. Probably do better if I didn't have 10-year-old kids that were nervous as hell. Or if I put powder in some of the bullets. I had one misfire. I didn't put powder in. Now I shake them, make sure. It happens. I got a 17 rim, but the 17 rim fires are not much use for me. Yeah, I'm just a 22 shoulder shot with a 22 mag. Shoot him right in the ear to ear in the line.
I accidentally shot a young oryx with a 22 mag and killed him.
Accidentally?
That was a happy accident.
Well, no, I shot him on purpose. He was across the fence on the military range, and he jumped up, two of them, and they wouldn't take off. And I said, hey, you guys get the hell out of here. I don't have a problem dragging you across the fence. And one of them took off, and I thought, well, I'll just shoot over there amongst them, my 22 Magnum, and it'd be like getting hit by a hornet or something. Well, I guess I went right between the ribs or something and hit him in the heart because he collapsed. And I thought, well, I probably better leave.
My wife makes rimfire ammo. Probably have to be patient for that. You guys ever
She must
done
work for
rimfire?
CCI.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, Houndsman. I guess we could talk about Houndsman. It's been exactly an hour now.
I'm not a very
What
good
kind of
one at the
houndsman?
moment.
I'm
got
not
a
a good
houndsman.
houndsman.
What kind of houndsman are you wanting to talk about? That guy
Well,
in the
any
yellow
houndsman.
shirt.
Anytime you're running dogs,
He's the
even
only one
beagles.
that classifies as a houndsman.
Yeah.
Who?
You.
You.
Oh shit! I'm just dumb.
We all
Well, yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
When you go down the list, I mean, what does it really take to be a good houndsman? You know, it's hard with me because
Time.
I work out of town. Here's my dilemma. I work out of town. And when I go home for the weekend, I can hunt down here, but if I'm doing work, it's hard for me to kind of get out. But when I go home, it's hard for me to get out because I've been gone all week. So that's why I always say, if you have a family, you're not going to be the best houndsman unless you got a wife that don't like you and don't want you there and your kids hate your guts.
Me. That's my wife.
Mine
I mean, I
too.
don't have kids, but
Your wife works and leaves town a lot, so you're good to go.
yeah, she's gone right now.
See? Jared's perfect. If Jared just get a mule and quit his job, he'd be a better houndsman.
If anyone wants to sponsor me, I am going to take mules from southern Arizona all the way to the Nevada border, northern Nevada border, eventually with dogs.
Just a ride?
No, I'm going to go lion hunt all the way through. Take the Arizona Trail, whatever, all the way up and through Utah into northern Nevada.
You're not
800
going
miles.
You'll never.
Need a
No,
cameraman.
you won't ever get there. You'll never get there.
It'd
Every
take a
time
while.
we tried to take the dogs to go to a cabin somewhere off, I mean, even if it's only a half a day's ride, we never got there.
No, they always go the other way.
Yeah, there's always something to get them started. You're wasting your time.
Well, maybe it's just a dream that I don't want to end.
Well, you could start. You could start in southern
Never-ending
Arizona,
story.
just like
There's
Ben
your
Lilly
title.
started back east and ended up in Arizona.
You know, maybe if someone just, if we put the goal at northern Arizona and it takes me 20 years to get there, I'm all right with it.
There's your story, title to your story, the never-ending story.
Yeah.
That's a fact. We'd all be better houndsmen if we were in the woods, but can you afford it? Now, if you have a trust fund, you can be a hell of a houndsman because then you're just going to go buy dogs. But this is just my opinion. If you're just buying dogs, I don't think you're going to learn dogs. But
The best dogs are made dogs.
Well, it depends. Like, you buy a dog. Like, I've bought dogs. Shit, I bought one last year. Now, the difference is what you do with the dog after you turn the dog loose. Are you following them to see who's doing what? Or are you sitting in the truck to see what road they're going to cross next to cut them off and see what's going on?
that's bear hunting. You don't really lion hunt. Who really lion hunts like that?
There's a bunch of them that do.
Yeah.
Off of their
In the
side
snow,
by-
right?
Oh,
You can
even
do that in
the
the
desert.
snow.
On their
Even
side by sides.
Even the dirt hunters, they get on a good lion track in the dirt. I mean, Mike Bency said it best. He put, if your guide's fat for lion hunting, you probably should find someone else. And that kid's skinny as a rail, and he catches the shit out of lions. And, that following your dogs, whether it's on foot, mule, whatever, that's how you learn on what's doing what, who's doing what. Like that puppy, I caught that lion yesterday. That puppy figured out a loss before the other dogs did. And they just didn't honor him. He opened up and barked on it and went off. He didn't go far. He went about 10, 20 feet. Opened up and barked on it, was trailing. 30 seconds to a minute before the other dogs went up there and picked it up and kept taking it. That dog's 14 months old. I never would have saw that unless I wasn't right there.
It's hard for you to hunt out of a truck where you are, or a side by side.
Depending, you got the border patrol roads and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But you cut dogs loose in the dirt, who knows what kind of terrain they're going to run into. They might hit a bad spot where it's all sand and they can't trail through it. You don't do the dogs any good by sitting in your truck a half mile away. Now, if you're I'm not saying get up their butt, but if you're 100, 200 yards behind them watching them and you see them hit a cow trail and they can't trail past that cow trail, well, get down there and get on the cow trail and see if that cat's walking the dusty cow trail.
Yeah.
And then push them down that cow trail, and eventually they'll take off and pick it up again.
Yeah.
But, sitting in your truck cutting dogs loose ain't worth a shit.
Not if you want to learn how the dogs are running and which way they're running. I mean, you can look.
You're not going to learn.
I've learned a lot off my GPS.
But you're not going to learn the habits of the animal you're pursuing unless you're down there watching every step those dogs are making.
Or you're sitting on a hill, watch that lion make a left, and your dogs lose it for some reason.
It's the same way doing what I do. If you're not right there watching them dogs, how are you ever going to learn what they're doing on that GPS when you do get lazy and want to sit on a buggy?
Well, it's just you watch guys talk about their dogs because they strike treat first on their handheld. Oh, that's my best dog. No, he ain't. That one cold trailed for an hour and a half.
Hours, yeah.
While your other one just sat there sniffing butt in the back and then took off on the jump.
So sometimes though, those dogs, it's just like anybody else. Your kids wait for you to make dinner before they eat. So but if you pull that dog, you hear people all the time saying, well, pull those lead dogs and let those other dogs work on their own.
Yeah, absolutely. I did that in Nevada when I ran cell phone cameras.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need an experienced dog to go show me what a 3-hour-old lion track looks like. Now, if I take my 3-year-olds down, they can all of a sudden that's a confidence booster to them.
Yeah.
I got this one.
So once they start catching with them older dogs, you pull that older dog back a little bit.
Yeah, if you got a day and you're like, man, today's not that good of a day or whatever, you just feel like leaving the old dogs at home. Maybe they had a rough day the day before, but the young dogs still have energy. Go hunt the young dogs. Go have a day of headaches chasing bear and monkeys,
Well, they got to learn what they can't catch too, after they know what they can catch.
Mm-hmm. And that takes from the old dogs, like my young dog I got, he'll go and chase a deer for half a mile, and then he'll look around and be like, no one's around me right now.
Here's the question that's asked 1,000 times on these shows. Benny, if you were to start back lion hunting, where would you go to get hounds?
I'd start with Steve Smith. I'd go to Texas and I'd go to Breck Bean. There's a small circle. There's a small group, a small pool of the caliber of dogs that I've always been interested in. I don't want any pansies. I don't want them to stand back and tell everybody that they found something. I want them to have enough grit to get in there and get a hold and fight for their life. And I also don't want a dog that's going to be so stinking fast. I prefer the slower, cold nose, track straddling kind of dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they get you through a lose, and in the dry country, like I always hunted, those dogs will find your tracks better than those other dogs that just they claim run to catch. What the hell? They all run to catch.
That's
no matter what they're catching.
Hey, Benny, if you ever talk to Breck Bean, tell him to sell me a 2-year-old.
I don't even know Breck. I just know his caliber of dogs.
You know,
That dog,
I talked to him. Shoot,
Brett talks to him.
a week. It was probably a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and I asked him if he had any young dogs for sale, and he said maybe he'll think about it. And maybe it's because he
well, it's
just
because, but guys like that have a name for themselves and that use their dogs a lot, they
yeah,
get real particular about where their dogs end up. You know, that dog
absolutely,
that he sold, that dog that he sold for $17,800 at that sale, that
yeah,
dog was 50% Steve Smith.
okay,
And Hendrick's dogs and Steve Smith dogs were mostly the same. Larry's breeding program wasn't as precise as Steve's.
yeah,
Steve is more like Clell Lee. He looks for perfection in conformation and everything else in a dog. And Larry
okay,
just had dogs to have dogs.
yeah.
I mean,
See,
they
that's
still had
why.
the same caliber. They had the same caliber of dogs, but when you look at a dog that Larry had versus a
Hmm.
dog that Steve had, they were different to look at.
Yeah. See, that's why I think Breck won't sell me a dog is because he doesn't know who I am. And I don't post anything that could catch. I mean, I got my guide page, but I haven't posted on there in forever.
Well,
He sends it all.
when your
Sends
wife's
it all to
gone,
me and Rowdy.
Yeah.
when your wife's gone, go down there and hunt with him.
Yeah,
I'd
he got to
like to,
work. He has a job.
kind of. I mean, I could leave
Kind of.
this job and they wouldn't really care.
Gene Morris, what do you hunt?
I hunt a variety of things when I'm here at home, but I don't really go abroad anymore. Maybe New Mexico once in a while on a bear chase, or Wisconsin,
That's a New Mexico's
Oklahoma, time
abroad.
or two
That's
on
like
bears. My
you got to have a
home
passport.
schedule's coyote.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. But no, my hometown deal is all coyotes. I mean, that's all I do about.
Where are you from now? Gene?
Northwest Missouri.
Missouri. Lot of coyotes there.
Yeah.
Can you bear hunt in
Northwest
Missouri or
Missouri.
no?
Yeah, we no, they've got some little sugar bears down in south of the Missouri River, and Arkansas. They've got some bears, but I don't think Missouri's got a open season.
What about bobcat? Can you hunt bobcat in Missouri?
Oh yeah, we've got several bobcats. I've got a neighbor boy over here. He does a lot of bobcat hunting. He's got a couple of my dogs I bred up, and they wanted to tree a little bit, so I didn't like that. So he took them over and made a real good bear and bobcat dogs out of them.
Nice. What's the between Missouri and New Mexico? I mean, what's the difference of trying to be a houndsman in New Mexico or Missouri?
Well, I'd say just the dry conditions. Yeah, terrain. There's a lot of it. We've got a lot of ground around here you could compare to Germany and a lot of places like that. It's kind of rolling hills, and you've got brush, and then you've got a little bit of prairie and a lot of foliage. A lot of foliage leaves a lot of good scent. It's not too hard to track for a dog. I mean, and that New Mexico stuff, you just got to have one whale of a good nose on them.
In the mountains, how mountainy are you over there? As far as, or are you pretty flat? You said prairies.
Yeah, our elevation always stays around 1,000 feet. You might get a little dip down to 500, and you may go as high as 12, 1,400. But we're right in that range. Just some real good, tall, rolling hills. Basically, you'll find some bluff country off in the southeast of here that's got some height to it, but it's nothing you can't hike up in about an hour.
What do you think, Jeremy? You could hike some of this Arizona stuff in an hour?
Some of it.
Let's see. It took 2.5 hours to go 800 yards.
Here in Missouri, I like a hound that swings on a loose. On a lose? I think maybe it's supposed to be a loose.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably likes those dogs that when they're having a little bit of trouble, they'll they'll just make a swing, kind of like a coon dog will, circle out around a tree.
We have an open season on bear in Missouri.
Okay. I guess they do then. So he's got to be south of here quite a ways.
Where are you from, Junior? It's like, it fascinates me, the different kind of countries. I hear Jeremy up there say he's dry. I'm just like, dry. I don't know what your dry is. Ours dry.
Well, it's Jeremy's alligator doesn't have any moss on his head anymore.
Yeah.
He does now. It ain't stopped raining in a week.
And that's what you get. You got on the show and said it's dry.
I wish I'd said it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of rain
Well,
in Missouri.
30 days ago here, it was terrible dry. You could lose a small child in some of these cracks, but now in the last 2 weeks we've made up for it, and it just now stopped raining here a little bit ago. Now the wind's kicking in.
Christ, all you guys talking about this rain. Those people in New Mexico, you just got a good rain up there where you were, right, Vinny?
Yeah, in fact, I had to working on that junk crusher, and it rained all night, and it was the only part of the state, I guess, it didn't rain all day. Lucky me. So
Yeah.
we were having rainwater dripping down on us, and then the wind kicked up to 50 miles an hour. It was beautiful. Makes me really appreciate doing what I do.
Well, it's misted rain all day here, so.
Me and Jared are like doing rain dances.
I'm not.
But it was. The weather is good.
We got rain 2 weeks ago, and my trailing conditions right now are about as good as you could ask for.
Marshfield, Montana. Where's that from you there?
Missouri.
Or Missouri, sorry.
Marshfield, Missouri. That's way in the south. That's pretty good piece south of here. It'll be south of Missouri River.
That's why they got them bears down there.
It's got to be. You'll see one drift through here once in a while, but he's usually got a collar on.
Well, hell, we just had bear in Apache Junction. You see that, Jared, Benny?
I did. There.
That's how dry it is. When you can tell when Arizona is dry, because those bears will start moving down to Scottsdale, Cave Creek,
Start seeing them in the golf courses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chris knows about those golf courses.
Hey, I'm a deer elk hunting sucker on a golf course. Oh,
so
yeah.
I was talking to a buddy of mine. He just got out of dogs not too long ago. And
smart. He's a smart friend of yours.
We were talking a little bit about trailing, and I got some dogs out of his blood, and he got a dog. He got some dogs from Sam Derringer, and Sam would only cut these dogs loose first on a lion kills, and they were boxer hound crosses.
I've seen people use Queensland hounds on bear.
Yeah, no, these were boxer hound crosses, and he'd cut them loose on lion kills. He's like, because they nine times out of 10 they'll take the best track out, because a lion will come back and forth on a kill 2, 3, 4 times in a night.
What does the boxer do? The energy?
Hot nosed and he said they were hotter nosed and they made the hound smarter.
So they weren't trying to cold trail; they was trying to run it down.
That's kind of odd. All the boxers I've ever been around were idiots.
Well,
hey, man, Jeremy.
No, those boxers this last weekend were pretty damn smart. They didn't even have to get beat up, and look at all the money they made.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
well,
don't rabbit hole that one. Oh my goodness.
But
yeah, we
he
need to
said
say
9
that.
times out of 10 they'll take the hot track and take it screaming. And if
that's
they don't,
why I use cur dogs.
Yeah, and he had some leopard curs in there too. And he said if they don't open up or do nothing, he's like, I just load them back up in the truck and I cut my actual hounds loose.
That's people who know, who play with genetics or different styles of dogs for what they want to hunt. You
Sam
like
Derringer's,
like that,
he's the real deal when it comes to
like that
lion hunting.
that video where you said I should have caught that lion, and I really thought I had that lion caught over there. And they went up there, they lined out, they got into that stupid valley floor with nothing but grease wood and sand washes. Just smoked me. Lost it.
Sand washes are
line probably
frustrating.
cut straight across it.
So,
and I know it was a lion because I found the toes coming across, but I just
yeah.
couldn't get them dogs to trail it, and I lost it in that hard dirt.
Mhm.
That hard sand. It's the hard sand,
Yep.
Oh well. But like I said, I'm not a guy who goes out 6 times a week. The big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I get mad and I only hunt 3 days a week, and I tell my wife I gotta quit my job. This is stupid. I'm selling the house.
Here's a question for you guys. Do y'all fix male dogs that only drop one testicle? I've seen male dogs drop one testicle and still breed.
We had one that had one, and he would have 14 puppies every time we bred him.
He had to work the payload out of one.
Yeah, double shot.
I've always thought
I've got a good one on that.
What's that?
I started to say I've got a good. Go ahead.
No, we're waiting on your good one, Gene.
Yeah.
Okay. Once upon a time, this has been 25 years ago. A friend of mine had a real good bred Walker running dog and young pup. And he says, I don't need him, don't want him. He's got problems in the back end. And I said, what's his problem? And I got to looking at him, and he had one seed halfway down the inside of his leg. The other seed was way out of the pocket, starting to come down his cheek. And I said, yeah, I'll take him. I'll just go ahead and finish cutting him out and just keep him. Well, I took him to the vet. The vet says, I think I can save that one. So he puts the close one back in the pocket, takes the one out of the leg, and that dog was a whale of a dog, had pups. I mean, he threw pups after pups after pups. And those seeds came from a long ways from the pocket.
That's crazy.
No, I'm curious, does Cord have a dog like that that's just got one testicle dropped? I've always had an idea of how to get the other one down, but I've never had that happen to me myself. So, those, I think you can get them pretty cheap now. They used to be called a cheetah. They used them for big semi trucks to air up the tires.
Right in the butthole.
Well, put that in his nose and shove everything back. He'll either prolapse or he'll drop that nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works.
He'll drop more than a nut.
Sorry, Cord.
Hey, try it. Never know.
There's an old timer. You hit those bad spots when you're trailing lions. And I was young, I got mad, and I'm like, why the F can't these dogs trail this son of a gun? And he looked at me and he's like, I'll hold his head. You suck the air out of his tail, and maybe you can suck that track up.
Did it work? Did you try it?
I didn't try it.
I'll see. You never know. I do. Court says I do. Yes, sir. It's a nice pup I got from Brett.
Oh, you got to watch Brett. That's a trick that he pulls. He saves those testicles so that he can keep that lineage. He puts them in the freezer. So
those aren't testicles.
He's keeping straws.
He put some marbles in there to make you think.
Got some glass marbles.
Yeah, you got to watch Brett.
Yep. That's why he didn't show up tonight. He knew Cord was going to be here. Ask him about that test.
That dog.
Well, and I'm sure when, it's going to be different how extensive you have to be a houndsman, what you need to be a houndsman, especially on what you're hunting too. Like, I don't know beagles. Missy, she was kind of here as a beagle person, and I knew Gene hunted coyotes. So, is it, you have to be more consistent if you're running beagles on rabbits? Is it the same as running lions on, hounds on lions or coyotes? How hard is it to get a dog? How hard is it to
You've heard
get
my
a
story about the cross I made.
Go ahead. Tell us
Broke
Had a
tell us the story.
malfunction there. Anyway, I had my story was, I talked to you last, was I had a quarter beagle, quarter basset, and half running hound. And I do all my starting on rabbits and foxes. I've got 6 or 8 little beagles out here to run loose all the time, and I've got a real good habitat. And that's what I start all my track dogs out. If they're running dogs, if they're tree dogs, it don't matter. That's how they start. And those, once they can run a rabbit and or a fox, there's usually nothing in this country can get away from them. I mean, they've got to learn to run that track and slow down and work it. If they can't work that track, then they're not worth much to me.
So you run, what do you run on the coyotes? The beagles? Or what do you
No,
run on?
I do have that quarter basset. I do have that quarter basset, quarter beagle, half running hound, but I usually use him to rig with mostly. He's not my speed and drive dog. He's just my locate and start dog.
So what are you using on the coyotes themselves?
I'm using Triggs right now, but Triggs and Walker July crosses. Walker's always been good to me. I mean, for 50 years, that's all I've ever run. I mean, I've had a little bit of everything, but those Walkers usually seem to pan out better.
And then Missy
Hey,
uses
guys.
oh, you got to get up early again.
Every stinking day.
Until
Time
your
to
first
make
wife,
love.
we actually saw her tonight.
Yeah, I seen her
Oh, I
standing
know.
back there.
She was trying to be in charge, but she wouldn't get all the way on board.
He was making sure he was getting on a live, not watching dirty movies.
Anyway, you guys have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.
See you, Benny.
See you, Benny.
Well, I should take more time. I just don't have more time. Jeremy, you get out quite a bit, but you're running, you're running coons mainly, right?
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
here
so he
Until
lately.
you
just
move.
chooses not to sleep.
Who is?
You sleep
I
when
was
you
like,
die.
yeah, he gets to go to work all day and just chooses not to sleep at night.
He tried not to get on the night. He says, oh, I'm sick. I said, oh, you big puss. He
Guilty
took
me
some
into it. I had to take some
NyQuil
cough
and
syrup.
jumped on. So, I mean, just running those.
How's your
how
coon
consistent you
situation
have
down
to,
there, Jeremy?
It's boomed right now. They're all over the place.
Yeah, that's the way they are up here.
how consistent do you have to be to keep those coon dogs in shape as far as staying on
Same
coons?
as everything else. The more
Just
they're
gotta-
hunted, the better they are.
That's the majority consensus when it comes to hounds, period. No matter what you're running. Bear, lion. You got to get them under game. You got to be consistent. You know, you get a guy who runs on the weekends, it's all he can run sometimes. He might catch some stuff. Then you have a guy that runs 3-4 times a week. He'll catch a little more stuff. Then you got a guy that just runs all the time. Bency, you know, all these guys that get to hunt, a lot of these cattle ranchers that are running cattle and taking their dogs.
If you're hunting lions every day, 7 days a week, that's hard. That's like pouring concrete every morning. That's work.
That's why those guys got 20 dogs, though.
Oh, you have to.
They don't
You
have
run
they
you'll
don't
run the
have
feed
a
off.
dog. They don't have a lead dog. They have 3 lead dogs. They have 3 or 4 dogs that they take out.
Oh yeah, you have to. I mean, because I
You know, if
guarantee
you're just
if you got 20 dogs, 30 dogs, and you're hunting 7 days a week, I guarantee you got 4 sitting out every week because something stupid happened. Whether it be, you know, cut a pad, cut a leg going across a barbed wire fence. You know, you got a seed infection that, you know, you got a foxtail that went into a foot, so now the foot's swollen. You always got that stupid stuff going on when you're hunting a lot.
especially when they get a little older. Then you got the sore dogs, you know.
You want, I haven't raised a dog past 3 years old for the last 4 years.
burning out.
Every one of them has died from something stupid. I had a dog get a cactus in his hind leg, go in his intestines, poke his intestine, and he went septic and died in 6 hours. I had another dog just died with a collapsed lung.
Yep.
And I had another dog die. She got a foxtail in her lung. Lungs filled up with fluid. And then I had a lion kill the other one.
I got a dog right now that's she was a really good dog, and she's been getting swole up, so I changed her diet. I put her on a meat diet. I thought maybe the dog food was. My wife just sent me a couple pictures today where she was doing good, and all of a sudden her ankle couple just swelled up. She's getting sores on her, and just like I don't know. I'm gonna have to go get her tested. See
how
what
it is. I mean, that's why you gotta have, if you're hunting a lot and beating dogs up, hunting them, you gotta have a good number of them. And to have 20 dogs that know what they're doing, you have to hunt 6 days a week. Otherwise,
in the summertime.
Yeah.
In the summertime,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just
in the summertime.
Comments.
We used to go ahead and run them cornfields all the time when the corn was short, and we'd have just every day we'd run them cornfields. Well, the spray 20 years ago started getting I don't know, toxic, I guess, and cancer was showing up in those younger dogs a lot. So we quit running the cornfields in the summertime. We've not had any cancer trouble.
It's because it dissipates a little bit and maybe breaks down. And
well, they're probably, when the corn's short, they're spreading Roundup on it.
Yeah,
all kinds of stuff. Atrazine. It's gee whiz. It's a lot of different stuff.
I hadn't noticed it with my hounds as much as I did with my bird dogs. They seem to be more susceptible to the cancer.
Right.
You gotta be tough to live around me for a dog, or stupid, one or the other.
I met your wife. She ain't stupid. I met your wife.
She's tough.
She ain't stupid. She's tough.
She's tough.
And if she was stupid, I wouldn't call her stupid because she's tough.
Yeah, I've been training her for the last 23 years, so she's tough.
Wow. It's a lot of work. I don't think people understand it's a lot of work, Just like he said, I hunt 3 days a week. Let me go back to it. I hunt 3 days a week, and Friday my dogs are wild as March hares. Summertime hits in Arizona, it gets kind of hot. They shut down and stuff. I can go run a little bit of coons down on the creek, but come August when bear opens up, it's just a rodeo. Like you have to just get out, and that's why a lot of guys. That's why a lot of guys go coyote hunting all summer and accidentally tree some bears or whatever they're doing. That's why they need the pursuit season. It would help us out a lot.
That's why I go back to Nevada in the summer. I'm over having my dog sit for that 2.5 months and coming back down here for a lion opener. It's miserable. I hate my life for the first 3 weeks. But see if I can do it. These boots are 4 months.
That's why you need a mule. That's why you need a mule.
Kenner Treks, $450 boots, 4 months.
Yep.
Well, that rock eats them up.
It's
sand. Rock.
Sand. It's stupid.
Jared hunts down south, and some of those areas are pretty nice, but God, the mileage you have to put on.
Here. Let me do this real quick.
Had a guy just send me a video of a hare stopping and licking his feet. Didn't seem to faze the beagles chasing it. That licking the feet is like the lions turning off their scent to a beagle person. The guy said that's how they lose them.
I just sent you a picture, Chris, of what we trailed that lion through on my Sunday.
When I get it, I'll send it to my email. I'm not all cool like Brett and have it all hooked up.
Linked up. But
Oh, and here's a fact right here. We talk about the dogs wearing out, but didn't you just do something? Or was that you did something to your ankle or something?
No, I got that air machine that massages I got the compression sleeves that go all the way up my legs.
Yep.
Because my
That
knees
was
and
me with a heel.
yeah.
That was you. Yeah, you had the bad heel.
My knees and my Achilles tendon on both my feet. My Achilles tendon that ties into on the lower part of my calf that thing just kills me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, in 2 days I put 20 miles on my legs. 22 miles on my legs in 2 days.
And he's a baby.
That's right.
Just wait till you get our age.
Hey,
Let me see if I
I
can
tell myself if I keep doing this, I just won't get old. But it's not working.
look at Warner Glenn. He don't stop.
My buddy worked for Warner Glenn for a little bit, and he said that man jogs everywhere he goes. It doesn't matter what it's
You
doing.
don't jog. The guy has a 12-foot
8-foot
stride.
legs. Yeah.
I thought I had my video on too. Waiting for yours to come through. I haven't got it. Who would you send it to? My phone?
Yeah, your phone.
Yeah, haven't got it yet.
1 second here. Make sure it's sent. It's still sending.
I sent you a video too, Chris, of a couple little beagles working.
Yeah, let me open. I
But
have to send it. Oh, I downloaded that one. Let me send it to my.
And
try
another thing is, you got to have a good dog. You got to have one good dog, because otherwise, it's the blind leading the blind.
The heck? Not let me send it.
Out of the 25 I've got right now,
what to do anyway.
There's probably only 4 of them that are young dogs.
I wish I had that problem. I got 3 dogs right now that are my all-stars, and I can do whatever I want with them. Then the 4th one, she's a good dog if she was just confident, but she won't start her own track. She'll help and look like an all-star once the track gets going, but she doesn't have enough confidence to start her own track. And then I got 2 puppies that the one puppy is 14 months old and he's already rubbing his nose red and treeing. I mean, he's a good dog. My red tick male, he's an idiot. I mean, he trails a little bit, cold trails a little bit. He's good on the jump. He's pretty fast on the jump. Tree's good, but to me, he's just an idiot. And then I got a 2-year-old blue tick female that she's just happy to hang out with me and not do a damn thing unless I ask her to.
I got a year-old Halado. He does the same thing. He'll go to the tree. Once they get going, he'll go out and come back. He wants to walk by me. Drives me crazy.
This little female, she's a little blue tick female, and some days she looks like a rock star, and other days she's just like, I can hang out with you today. That's all right. I don't need to go do anything. Drives me nuts. I get so mad at her. And you can't do nothing about it, because if you get to whooping on them, they're just gonna sit there and walk by you anyway. So you just got to act like they're not there. Yeah. So you just got to act like they're not there, and don't pet them. Don't give them any love. Just walk by them constantly.
Man told me one time he had a bunch of puppies that wouldn't leave his feet. He just accidentally kicked one, and then he'd apologize and pet it up. He said eventually they got to where they'd get away from him.
I do that with puppies when they start. We called it boot licking. When they start walking behind me on the horse trails and stuff, I'll throw my feet back pretty far back. And every now and then they'd catch a boot heel of the nose on accident, but they learn pretty quick that it's better to stay up in front of me with the big dogs than it is to just sit there and walk behind me.
Let me try to play this video here real quick. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yep.
but she's working.
Oh
Some of
my
the
God,
best
you
dri-
showed my iron off. You got any volume on that?
What does it do? It's too loud.
No, it's not. We can't hear
No,
it.
yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
you
have
can't
any
hear it?
volume
I don't
on it.
know. I don't know why. I can hear it. I don't know why you guys can't. She's loud. I don't know why it won't.
That little female right there, that little blue beagle, she's only 4 months old. And that male dog there, he's about a year and a half. But they that rabbit had ran through there like 30 minutes earlier today. No, I take that back, yesterday. And she was really, there's my Martina McBride shrine there. Anyway, we turned them loose, and they did a heck of a job in all the wet conditions.
Right on. A lot of my buddies got some beagle crosses for dry ground line dogs, and tell you what, they're little dogs, about 25 pounds, 30 pounds, but they are some trailing sons of guns. They're real good dogs.
There you go.
It said that picture went through, Chris. I
My
don't know if it
beagles ate
mattered
more
or
than my
not.
big dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it. I'm trying to get out of here. Did it stop
But
sharing?
yeah,
Oh, all right.
but those beagle
Yeah.
crosses, man, they are dang good dogs. My buddy loves them. I don't know. I just don't care for a super little dog is my deal when it comes to lion hunting. I don't like super big ones though either.
I like my little hounds. I don't got very big hounds anymore. Dirty's pretty big hound. Luke was big, but I bred with Frosty, and all my dogs came down to about 30, 40 pounds.
I like a 40-pound long-legged dog. 40, 45-pound high-gutted, long-legged dog.
I got one that'll double that. He's 80-pound running weight. But he's built like a quarter horse.
Yeah, I got my big white female, Charlie. She's 65 pounds, 70 pounds. But she does good.
What did I miss out on? I blacked out there.
I don't know. My internet. I was trying to open my email, so it might kill my internet a little bit. You didn't miss much. Just Jared talking.
Okay.
That's right. I don't shut up.
I
So.
missed that. Doggone.
Trying to open.
That's all right. Between him and Rowdy, they have their own show.
That's true. Rowdy's a wealth of knowledge. That guy knows his stuff.
Trying to get Jared's picture. But my email ain't opening.
Darn it.
Like I said, I'm not all cool like Brett.
Gosh darn it.
No, and them two little dogs that were running there. You couldn't hear the volume on that or anything to hurt Chris?
I had it up. I could hear it. I don't know why it wasn't playing. Usually it plays
right
loud.
Yeah, they were doing a good job.
Let me send it. I'm gonna send this picture to Jared. Probably gonna come back on your messenger, Jared. But if I send this picture, then I'll open my messenger. There we go. Okay, let me try. And this is the country you're hunting, Jared?
Yeah.
It's not a video, it's just a picture, right?
It's just a picture, yeah.
Let me go here. Opening a bunch of stuff, so my slowing down my internet, I guess. Everybody's home at 7:45 watching their Netflix.
That's right. Oh.
Open it up. There it is. Okay, let me share my screen. Share screen. Windows. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
That looks like the canyon. I literally just walked my damn mule up, and see how it kind of opens up every time I'd come around a corner there. It would open up some more. So it was just.
If I would have tried to bring a mule through that, it would have taken me 3 times as long to get down.
That's the problem with mules. You'd have to tie it up, go probably walk in if it was treed somewhere close, but
yeah,
then you have to walk back and get your mule.
How far is that saddle, Jerry?
That
From
one
where
right
you're standing?
there, probably 600 yards, 400 yards. But
The
that
reason why I
canyon,
asked is because those pictures don't do those places justice.
No,
so
they don't.
that canyon right there is probably 1.5 miles long.
Looks like
And
300 yards.
yeah.
Rock.
And yeah, we jumped that Tom out of there, and the dog caught him on the ground or in one of those rock croppings, like 700 yards in front of me, and I could hear him screaming at him. They were in his face, and they had him caught for like 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes tops. And I'm like, shoot, I got to get down there because that's nothing but rock and ocotillo and century plants. There's nothing in there. So I was kind of nervous that they were fighting him on the ground. And I take off running. I don't get to him. That lion bails down in the bottom of that canyon where it gets sandy and takes off running. And luckily, he climbed the first tree he went by. Because otherwise, that day would have sucked. I would have been chasing the dogs all day. Because it just would have been, he would have bayed up for a minute or two, taken off running again. Bayed up for a minute or two, take off running again.
What's the temperature like down there where you're at right now?
That was a gorgeous day. It was 33 for a low and 64 for a high.
So it'll take him a while before he got hot.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get my video loaded.
You know, we caught a lion early last year, first part of October, end of September, off a deer kill and a water tank. And when we got there, he was throwing up in the tree. He was frothing at the mouth. Got hot. Just because he had a full belly. Gracie.
That little cat treed up on a little rock, and the dogs were able to get to him and put a little too much pressure on him, and he went down.
Where was that at?
When I went with Casey.
Oh, okay.
And then they got bluffed up. And we couldn't get to them.
Oh, shoot.
Let me show you where I thought I had a lion caught. I wish you could hear the video because they were going for sure. If you look, you'll see up in the top left in that little saddle, my dogs will be going up through that saddle. But you probably can't hear it either. Can you not hear it?
I could. I thought you were running a bear, that black dog. Or is that Dirty? The red dog?
That's Yucky, the red dog.
Yucky. Yeah. I thought that was a bear when I first watched that video.
Can you not hear that either?
Uh-uh.
I wonder if I download it. Let me try to download it and see if you can hear it. They just went up and over that saddle. They're opening up, and I thought, man, that line went up through that out of that game water, and he was going to go up and over, and and they were hot, man. I was like, hey, let me see.
Where's that at, Chris? Down there around Globe?
Let's see if you can hear it on this. No, it's in my backyard. I hear Maricopa. Can you hear it now?
Mm-mm.
Or still no?
Nope.
Huh. I don't know why it's not playing sound.
That's down around Phoenix.
Yep. So yeah, it's off of I-8.
It's a little different from Show, though.
down here between. I couldn't make enough time. I'm trying to get out of here. So, heck, did we lose everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, there's Jared. Hang on. Lost everybody.
For a second.
So they went up and over, and I said, well, I'm going to run around the side of it. And I got around in another canyon. You know what? I might. Let me go. I do have it under my videos. Let me see if I can. Oh, no, I don't have it loaded yet. It's on my GoPro still. So I went around a canyon, and that canyon that Jared, it looks just like that. And I rode up a way, and I'm like, I could have rode my mule probably up the whole way. And let me see. That Gene that Gene said, I'm out. The wind got crazy. So I must have knocked out his. So I went up this canyon, and they were 3/4 mile, and I seen them down in the bottom, and I've seen them just doing little circles out in that whole valley trying to find that track still. I ended up walking all the way up there to the top, and then I just walked down because I've always said I'd rather wear my mule out taking me back to the trailer and wear myself out going up the canyons. But it sounded good. They were trailing good, and they got to the top, and it was all that on the north side of that hill was all that grass, that dirty brown grass. And I think they just got to the top of that hill, started getting down through there, and just lost it. And I did catch some toes down in the wash, and I don't know why I didn't take a picture of it. And got out there on my GPS where they were circling, and I couldn't find a track on top under those greasewoods. You know,
that greasewood's tough.
It is, and I didn't realize it, and that's what the biologist was telling me, how you won't catch them in that greasewood. And I was like, you're stupid. You don't know nothing.
Right.
Stupid biologist. What do you know? And I said, I'm going to catch them. But, man, I tell you what, they hit them flats like that, and it just
it's miserable.
Put the brakes on.
So that country right there, we caught that lion a half mile off the jump. And then he took off again and went another mile after he got away from the dogs the first time or second time, however we want to call it. He went 1.5 miles after the first jump, after we jumped him.
I feel
That's a 9-hour day.
We talk about snow hunting, and like I said, it don't excite me. I talk shit about snow hunting and how it's easy and everybody got the sissies, but when I lose something in snow, I feel more depressed. Like, these stupid dogs. There's a track right here. Like, and then when I lose something out in the country like this, where I know I'm not going to catch it, I'm still satisfied. Like, what do you say? This guy right here, damn good times. I just had a good time. I seen my dogs working the rock, and I knew they were working it. And then I get to their side and start going down that hill, and there's just a bunch of grass, and it's that dirty grass, and it's a lot of that little short brown grass that's real fine.
Sheet grass.
Oh, my mule loves it. Eats the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But then I looked down in that valley, and I seen all that greasewood, and I seen those big, big washes. You'll see it on my video here, not this week, next week. This week will be the rest of my bear video. But
there's a reason no one hunts that country.
And I honestly, I love hunting country. If it takes me 10 years to catch a lion, I caught that female. I already caught that female, and I got lucky and pulled her out of the houses. My mom calls me and says, on Facebook, there's a picture of a lion 30 minutes ago, right where I was. And I said, I think I'm chasing that lion. It came right, my dogs, my 2 pups. It was Lucy and Ben. They went to the houses, and I heard them opening up, and I'm all, stupid sons of mother effers. And I'm like, what do you got? I was like mad about it. And I went to start toning them back because I didn't want them in the houses. And my yucky, dirty Cecilia, just like they did right there, hot, took off and ran it across the ridges all the way. I'm talking, this lion never touched that floor, stayed in the rocks 3 miles away. I had to ride back. And when I toned my dogs back, they opened up coming back. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they went right up the same trail that my other dogs went to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, gosh, dang it. And that's just, we've always talked about when you're a houndsman. And here's another thing is 90% of the time, the mistakes are yours. You get impatient. You think my dogs ran to the houses. Mom, what are you chasing, house cats?
Yeah.
But that lion came out of those houses. But I didn't know that, The only reason I was excited is my mom called me and said, there's a lion in Hidden Valley right there. And I was like, son of a gun, those dogs probably back trailed that lion to the houses. And here I am toning them and turned them around.
Yeah.
And they went exact same noses down up where those other I had to ride, and I was on Ruth. I'm like, I'm going to take Ruth today. She's probably, I don't know, 82 years old. That way she's a follower. She's a plow rainer. Like my other horse, I just blow on her ear. She goes that way. So I couldn't even go. If I was on Sage, I would have went out there. And I wouldn't have been home and this was just the morning I got up. I was going to Sholo. I said, I'm going to run out there. I didn't have to work. I'm going to run out there, I'm going to ride up this little canyon wash gorge to the game water.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I had to walk her up a dirty spot. I didn't even think I was going to make it. Got up to the top, and those dogs ended up 3 miles away. Went back to my trailer, and this is my dumb mule. Got her back to the trailer, went all the way around I-8, came in another way. I ended up just parking my trailer mule, unhooking my truck, and hauling butt in. They were treed. Got in, got 900 yards from it. Walked in because it's only 900 yards with nothing on me because it's 900 yards. What is half mile? Ooh, you know what I mean? Oh, man. That's the stupidest thing. Oh, they're 300 yards away. And it just feels like 18 miles. Got in. And that line ran up and over. And I seen it go right up through the shell. And I called my dogs because my dogs were spent. They were spent. So I got up to where I had dogs that wouldn't even come down. Like I had to walk up and get them and coax them down. And it's in one of my videos. And when I got up to where the dogs were, my Lucy took off and chased that stupid line up and over. I couldn't get her off of it. I got the other one. The one had a cholla on top of her head, and her ears were pinned to the top, and there was blood around 3 little Palo Verde. So I think that line stayed under those trees and would go run off, and they'd gun on it, run it. When I started walking up that hill, I heard it, and I looked up and caught it going up and over, and I was like, I just called my dogs off. They were spent. I was spent. We walked back to the truck. I think I have video of them and just in a line behind me, like all of us had our tails between our legs. Lucy, I'm like, F you, Lucy. I don't know. I'll find you another day, I guess, And she ended up circling around and just lost that lion, probably just lost the lion. And she showed up with us before we got back to the truck, but man, it was a good time for me. Like I enjoyed it. I knew I had that lion. I knew if I was been on Sage, maybe I would have got that lion. I probably would have shot that lion because it's eating those Sonoran pronghorns.
Yeah.
But it was a good day for me. I love the desert, man. I'm telling you, that desert in the wintertime is just like a mistress.
You need to find a better desert.
No, but you don't tell me I can't catch a lion in a desert. And don't tell me I can't. Well, I know it's, but don't tell me I can't.
I just go to where there's more lions in a better desert.
I should. I got dogs that have caught lions and crap. So I don't know. I think it's that like it's probably like those Sasquatch Bigfoot guys who believe and they want to so bad catch that Sasquatch because there's not one, you know.
Mhm.
And you know, even the biologist like, good luck catching it. And I told him I caught that lion. I just didn't catch and kill her. Like, I had her caught, and if I was in better shape, if I'd have made it sooner, I mean, it just wasn't her
Yeah.
day.
Dude,
But
last year we got outran twice in 1 week by the same Tom. And it's just doesn't matter how fast you go. As soon as you get close, they take off sometimes.
and they know they
hear
can
you.
take off.
They hear you
Mhm.
coming. They smell you coming. Whatever it is, and
You can't come up from the top because you have to go 18 miles in 3
Yeah.
miles to get up to the top and come down. So when you're
Yeah.
coming up from the bottom, they know them lions take a break.
Oh
They
yeah.
just chill out. They catch their breath. They get their second wind. And I think, and they were treed for like hours, like 2 hours. Like it took me an hour and a half to get around that. And then probably 2+ hours. So they were treed. They didn't move that spot until I walked up that hill, and I couldn't see until I got to a certain point. And then I heard something going up. I'm like, oh man, it better not be a deer. And so I was happy. I caught it. I knew I caught it. I couldn't get, I have a GoPro. You don't see shit in a GoPro unless you're right there, you know? And it was fun though. I was more satisfied knowing that they had that, they did catch that. I just didn't get to get a picture in the tree, but I was good, you know. And I think I don't make me a better houndsman, but I think I enjoy it more than somebody who just wants to kill something.
Shut up! I like killing them.
I wouldn't know.
I sat underneath that tree yesterday for like 45 minutes. I let the puppy bark, and I was looking at him. It was his first line that he trailed and treed on. My rule usually is if I got a young dog that does the whole game, I shoot the lion.
Got to get
him.
him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
don't you wish you could just trank it, let him chew on him a little bit, and then just pull him off and go away? And then he gets up, wakes up, and goes away.
I was looking at that lion. I was like, man, I could burn you down right now and not feel bad at all, but that doesn't pay my mortgage. And then I got to go buy $100 pursuit permit after this. That's the only reason that lion walked, is because I can bring someone in to pay me to do it.
That's when you wish you had someone with you.
Dude, that happened to me twice last year. I went out, set camp up. These guys already paid their deposit. Set camp up, and day before the hunt, I get a text. We can't come. Well, all right. Thanks for the free money, you know.
Yeah.
And I still went hunting. I hunted. I trailed the tom the next morning. I trailed the tom all day, sun up to dark. Next morning, I went out and I jumped a few canyons over from where I lost or didn't lose them, pulled the dogs off the night before. Went, circled around, got in front, what I thought was in front, trailed them from 7:30 in the morning till 11:30. We caught them on day number 2. And I sent a picture of those guys, and I was like, well, you could have had this guy.
That makes them so sick. You know, we had a girl that was coming up for bear, and they didn't make it till a couple days later. Me and Cody Lynn went out, and we just, I don't know, we did good. My dogs are doing good. We treat 2 bear a day. And I send her a picture. She's like, you son of a bitch. What? I'm like, hey. We ended up getting her a good little bear, but that's how it works out, you know. And that's why I don't think I'm a good guide. I have my license, and I debating on whatever. And I thought, well, I'll just get rid of my license and use Jared to kill all lions, and I'll just go set up camp and cook for people and go out with them.
Heck yeah.
But I just enjoy running my dogs. I honestly, I'm not a good guide.
Well, that's all guiding is running your dogs.
Yeah, but there's there's that expectation. You know, when I'm with just me and my dogs, I'm like, it's just, you're kind of free out there. You know, you don't have to.
There's not as much pressure.
Not as much.
There is pressure.
Yeah.
But I don't mind the pressure. I do better on it. I hunt harder.
Yeah.
When I'm under pressure. You know, like it's not like on day number 4 and I've been on my legs for 3 days already. And it's not like, you know what's day number 4. I'm just gonna go bust roads and look for a track in the dust. You know, it's not
Well, it's like
that.
when I was
when
down
I'm
there
back.
with you, there was just, man, we weren't catching up to them.
No, well, you found that lion first that we caught.
Yeah.
You found it and you're like, we trailed them a little bit. I pulled them off. It wasn't that good. And we couldn't
they
figure,
just weren't working, and it headed your way. I probably could have went another 400 yards and jumped that. And it's always the story too, man. Just it reminds me of Cody King. Just one more dog, man. Just another 100 yards. I've done that, and then you know what I'm doing? I'm riding back and getting back to my truck at midnight. You know, and right now, like this week is not a good time to be out in the desert at night because it's a full moon. You're gonna bump into illegals, and it's wintertime. And I don't mind. Like I've never had a problem with them down here where I'm at. You know,
they're not too bad. I mean, it depends on what corridors you are in down here. You know, you got to stay away. Like the human trafficking corridors aren't that good. The drug trafficking corridors are iffy. You know, the drug traffickers don't want to get caught because they don't want that corridor to be known. But you know, that lion that you saw or trailed that one day, it took us 3 days to catch that lion. You found it and trailed it. And it came back to camp, told me where he was. I went in the next day, and we were trailing him for an hour or so, 2 hours, and then the dogs made a bad lose. I leave the dogs on that lose, and I do a giant circle, and I hit his track on the road going back to where we just came from.
And I think you were like 400 yards from where I quit.
Yeah. Yep.
And he wasn't that far up there.
No. And then I'm walking that track out on the road, and I find another track coming back up the road. And then the buggy breaks down. So then we got to get pulled out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, we had problems just
the
whole time.
The fuel pump went out in the buggy. So then Chris has to tow us back to camp. The next morning we go back in there, and I just grabbed the guys, and I'm like, we're going for a nature walk. And we went for a nature walk. Shoot, we went a half mile from the truck. That lion had a javelina killed, and we caught that lion 100 yards off that javelina. That lion was in there for 3 days.
We did all the way around him.
Yeah.
Because when you went low, I went high. When I went high, you were low, and we just did big circles. That thing never moved. He was just down there chomping on that old javelina.
Mm-hmm. It took us 3 days to get that stupid bugger figured out, and he never left a 200-yard circle almost.
Yep.
He left to go get water, and then he went back. That was it.
That's my brother right here, and we was up in Unit 9 hunting. And I was out. I walked all day. This is no lie. I walked all day. I was walking looking for elk up there. Mm-hmm. I get back, and that little sucker's taking a nap, and I kick the cot, and I'm like, get your ass out there and go hunt. And he's all mad. And he goes out, he grabs it. He has a 303 British, and he goes, to hunt. I'm like, I'm going to take a nap now. And man, I just about fall asleep. And you know, when you fall asleep, you hear that loud noise, bang, sometimes and I was like, and I went back to sleep, like dozing. And all of a sudden I hear someone coming, and I open my eyes and I look, my brother's coming right at me like he's going to stab me or something. He's all, I shot an elk. I'm like, dude, get out of here. He walked 500 yards and got a damn elk. And I walked 18 miles that day.
Yep.
Didn't see nothing. And it was right by camp. He was literally under 1,000 yards from camp.
That's my look, Chris.
Oh, he went to shoot it, and his contact popped out. So he had to shoot right-handed with his left eye. and he dropped that sucker heart shot dead it was running. So sometimes you just got to go that, like I said, we would have caught that lion 2 days earlier, but I just didn't. They were working in the sand, and I was like, man, you guys are piddling around,
Yep.
John Clump told Brett, they're lollygagging. I really thought, and then we had a dirty javelina chase not far from there. I let him out to just go to the bathroom. They take off. One of my dogs, and I knew it was trash. We got over there, and it was in a covert.
Yep.
It is what it is. And then we found that lion later on.
Yep. I had an old timer. He'd never wake up early and go hunt the snow. He wouldn't start busting roads in the snow until 8:30 in the morning. And I was younger, and I'd always start before him. I'd get out there about 4:30 in the morning, busting roads, And we'd meet up, and he'd get me on the radio or whatever, and we'd meet up, and he'd start piddling this road. And I'm guessing he found that track freaking while I was out at 4 in the morning or whatever, his first road. And we'd come around the corner, and he'd pull over, and he'd just point at the ground at, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Found the lion track. I've been up since, 3:30 in the morning. He woke up at 7:30, and he's always the first one to find one.
Yep. I've caught bears the same way. My cousin get up at 7:30. He's all, shouldn't we be out earlier? Nah. We go in. We don't get there till 8. I park. I let my dogs out. They take off. I usually walk this way. I'm going to walk straight up the steep part this time. We did.
Mm-hmm.
Walked up the steepest part, got to the top. Dogs blow up. Run the damn bear 30 yards from my truck. Walk back down to the truck. And it was quick and fast. I'm like, oh, man. This is a long time ago. I'm like, it could be a coyote or an elk. I don't know. We go to the truck. They turn, go back up the big mountain. I come around, hit another road coming up. I'm like, oh, man. They're like 200 yards. So we just pull over and I said, man, let's just walk in. It's only a couple hundred yards. And then it's 130 yards. And then it's 90 yards. I'm like, dude, they're coming right at us. We're about to find out how big this elk is because it's not treeing.
Yeah.
And we're standing there and just 30. I'm like, dude, I can see my dogs coming. What the hell? And a bear runs right at my cousin. Shoots him right there, rolls him right in front of us, by 9 o'clock. By 9 o'clock.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Last few years, watching Mr. Ball stack up there. Arizona bobcats in cages. You guys ever tree bobcats or only lions?
I catch a bobcat a year.
Every once in a while I do, but it's closer to town. Closer to town, like on the canal where I'm by. And it's in dirty mesquite, but out in the middle of nowhere, I've caught more feral cats. This is no lie, like house cats.
Yeah.
In BFE than I have bobcats. But them bobcats, they're hard to catch.
Every now and then I feel lazy, there's a storm blowing in. It's going to start raining at 8:39 in the morning or whatever. So I'll grab the dogs and we'll just go behind the property. Every now and then I'll catch a bobcat back there. And it's not like they cold trail it, jump it, and tree it. Usually we walk right into it and you watch it. It's a 30-second.
They bump it,
30-second to 10-minute jump race, and it goes up a tree. It's nothing spectacular.
Yeah, but to me that's good. Them dogs are like, hey, we caught something. Let's go do it again real quick. They're not wore out. Yeah. How well would your dry ground dogs do in Wisconsin? Would they be able to trail like they do there? I don't know. How dry? Wisconsin's flat.
Wisconsin's flat and wet.
It's just like Louisiana. It's just a little north.
A lot of grass?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
They'd struggle just like my dogs struggle out there.
Now, if you ask Cody King that, he'll go there and he'll catch a bobcat.
Oh, yeah.
Just tell him he can't, and he will.
Yep. I don't know. 90% of the tracks, it's just
conditions.
Conditions.
Yeah, conditions, and Is that track catchable? If it ain't catchable, then your dogs look stupid. If it's catchable, they'll look like a rock star.
And you might get
cane.
You might get lucky and bump it. What is it, girl?
Yeah, it could be like the second lion I ever caught. The second lion I caught in my life. I cut dogs loose. They went up into this rock cropping, started barking, went 200 yards behind me and treed. I was 100 yards from that lion from my truck.
Got coyotes yelling right here close. My dogs are getting all stupid.
You got a female in heat?
Well, I don't, and they should be. So they're all gonna come in. Luckily, my dad has kennels here, so I can throw them in kennels. But I've been checking them. I know my wife's pit bull, came in heat at home, so she keeps track of all that. She writes it down, and I just gave her my book, so she writes it down in my book now.
When my females come into heat, man, I hate the coyotes in my yard. God, they get to yodeling and yipping and barking at them.
Mm-hmm. And it's breeding season right now anyways for coyotes, so that don't help.
Yeah.
Wisconsin has a lot of bluffs and hills, not as flat as people think. I'd have to look at that terrain. I imagine they do just as good. I mean, you can't get no drier than Arizona.
No, I mean, Nevada and Arizona is about as dry as you're ever going to get.
And even New Mexico's pretty dry in some areas. Like where Brett hunts down there by his house, and it's exactly like right here.
Yeah, where Brett hunts, it's like the devil's armpit.
Come over here, Jared. Come over here, Jared.
No, I ain't going over there.
They're here. They're here because of those Sonoran pronghorn. That lion's eating those Sonoran pronghorn. We need to catch that one.
I bet.
So
tell you what, you find a night old lion kill, I'll go there.
I know where they are, but it's just getting back there is pain in the butt. Yep. I mean, you can get back there. It's not bad. I could take my horse trailer back all the way around most of that stuff, but northern Minnesota and Wisconsin is all trees. More bobcats treed in Minnesota than Wisconsin, or what's UP?
Upper Michigan.
Is it the hounds?
I
don't know. I mean, I've only caught.
It's the conditions. It don't matter. It's the conditions. Yeah. When you're used to hunting dry ground, you put them in. They might smoke a good. You got a little bit of moisture. What happens when you get a little moisture down there?
Well, see, that's like mine. They can't run a bobcat real well unless it's right after a rain.
Yeah,
and he's as good as caught. But if it's dry or what I consider dry, and no real moisture, they'll lose him.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. We should all have pursuit seasons. But this guy, Luke Ray, would you think your cold-nosed dogs are different from ours here in Wisconsin? It's a different. Moisture is moisture. Rock is rock. Sand is sand. How dry? How much rain do you get back there in Wisconsin? I imagine they get more rain than Arizona does.
Oh, they do, but it's just you could have one of his Wisconsin dogs turn out to be one of the best dry ground dogs there is. Mm-hmm. The best dry ground dog I ever had came from Battleground, Washington. It rains 200. It rains 200 days a year out there.
Mm-hmm.
But that dog was dirty, rotten, tough. I mean, he was just tough. His name was Bone, and he didn't care what it was. And it was some of me being, when it went back to Casey Fair talking about your dogs are only as good as hunters or only hard as hunters as you are.
Yeah.
Well, when I got that dog and moved to Nevada, we could hunt lions 24/7. I didn't pull him off a track unless he quit barking. If he was barking, we kept going. It didn't matter if it was 1, 2 in the morning. And that made that dog dirty, rotten, tough. He didn't see the sun going down and be like, all right, we're done for the day. He ran until it was gone. The scent was gone and we couldn't catch it anymore.
I think if you have more moisture, they'll do better over there. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
maybe your
I mean-
dogs might struggle and try to work harder here, but doesn't mean they're not going to catch here. They just might have to work a little harder and slow down. I don't know how fast. I'd have to just kind of watch your dogs and see how. Can you hunt lions in Wisconsin? Or
Ain't none.
what? No, there's nothing. It's a bobcat, right?
No, it's just bobcat. And you
See,
don't
that's
want to
what-
be
So-
cold trailing bobcat. You don't
That's
want to
what-
sit there
That,
and throw rocks at the ground
yeah,
watching
you're
your
gonna be
dogs
there
trail
all day.
bobcat. Yeah,
Shit, you don't want to cold trail nothing if you can help it,
yeah.
you know.
Unless you like
But
to
it
race.
does help. Mhm.
Yeah. But like cold trailing a bobcat, you just ain't gonna get nowhere. To get a bobcat race up and going, the dog's gotta be covering country, not like when they do with lions, you know.
You know who that dog came from there, Jared? From Battleground,
I
Washington?
can't. It was 11 years ago. I have no clue.
There's a guy who did. So Luke I like his questions. He has a lot of good questions. Is there a reason why all the dry ground guys run walkers and English dogs? I don't see many people with plots or cur dogs.
But they're
I
not
think
true
because
Walker or English.
just
dogs.
work.
They're all mixed.
Yeah,
They just,
everything's everything's best dog to best dog. It's not, there's probably some plot crosses out there. I mean, there's some dry ground dogs that are buckskin.
Well, see,
They're not
the
brindles, but
The difference in
who?
dry ground line houndsman and we'll just say Eastern houndsman, we ain't gonna define it as bear hunters or coon hunters, is Eastern guys are more breed specific. The Western guys, they're not. They don't care. If you run it and do what I want you to do, I'll breed you to this one that'll do what I want you to do.
well, that's
Makes sense.
that's where you talk about the guys back east. They say this is Smoky Train Night Champion 27 or whatever, bred to female midnight, 20 years ago. And, they go through the pedigree that way. Where out west, you talk to a guy and it's like, where'd you get that dog? Who'd you get that dog from? And it's, it could be a Derringer dog, Wade Lemon, Jeff Allen. That's where it comes from. It's not you don't ask a
Right.
guy out west his bloodline. You ask where you got the dog from, who you got the dog
Mhm.
from.
I think out west is way different. Unlike a bird dog where there's champions and all that stuff. But who had the plot? There used to be a guy in Arizona that mainly ran plot dog. I was about to bring this up. Is there someone that had a real good plot hound? The best dog he had was a plot hound dry ground. I don't remember who it was.
I can't
Yeah,
remember.
plot
who
dogs.
it
He was a
was.
transporter, but he's been gone for a decade or so now. I believe his daughter may still be out there hunting though. Brett would know.
Yeah, Brett's brought him up, but I don't know his name. I couldn't tell you. One thing I do know is not a lot of guys run plots on drag ground lions.
There's not a big plot bear.
No.
There's people who have some. Even here in Arizona, there's not a lot of plots for bear.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the ones I've ever been around are hot nosed, just
Yeah.
like my Walker dogs.
Well, you don't want to cold trail a bear. Trust me.
No.
Stupid.
But Sam Derringer, he ran leopard curs on lions. He had some leopard curs on lions. They didn't do nothing till it was jumped, but once it was jumped, they burned it down.
They'll hold him too.
Yep.
My dogs got Walker, black and tan, red tick. I've known myself. I had an accidental red bone, and I don't like red bones, but Yucky's. He was the one He's the one that's been. My video is about to come out. Undercover guy called me or tried. He texted me. He's like, "Hey, I got this bear, and he has some dogs he's training." So we went over there, and Yucky caught that bear by himself. I mean, he's a red bone, but sometimes you got to be colorblind, man. I'm not a big plot fan, but you bring me a plot that works, I'm gonna run it, and then I'm gonna breed it to something. I'm not a Benny genetics kind of guy.
Dirty's
Benny loves
Eddie, right?
Yeah, Dirty's so
And Dirty
Dirty's
looks like a red tick. So
Dirty's red tick and blue tick. His daddy was blue tick out of New Mexico, and I don't know who or what was in him. I know he was a blue dog. His mama
and Yucky
was
looks like a full-blooded red bone.
looks just acts like one. Got that little bit of aggression to him. I've kind of knocked it out of him a little, but his
Maybe
mom.
there's some buckskin plot in there. Who knows?
His mom was a red bone out of a papered red bone. The dad was a papered red bone, and the mother was his mom was red bone and black and tan. The black and tan was out of where the red fern grows line. There was I got her from the Sloans. My dad still has her. Eva. And I mean, I don't care what they are. Do I have a preference? I've always said this. You can always have a preference. You might want to drive a red Maserati, but someone gave you a blue one, you're going to take it if it runs good, Yep. And Dirty and Yucky, he works for me, and he's cold nosed, and he runs bear, and he's good for what I want.
Yeah.
He's good for what I do.
Well, you're the one that's got to feed him. I don't, so,
The only thing I worry about is traits. If they don't fit my bill, they got to go.
Yep. And you know what? I've given dogs away, and I've taken dogs that didn't work, and it's because they didn't like the handler.
Oh, absolutely.
They came to me, and I'm like, dude, are you serious? This dog's great. Dogs are just like people, man. If they don't like you, they don't like you.
It might not even be the handler. It just could be 2-3 dogs in that pack just didn't like him.
You're right.
You know what? I ain't gonna hang out with you guys.
Well, how many times have you had? I had a dog named Snoopy, and I gave him to a friend of mine because my other dogs wouldn't let him be an alpha dog, and he needed to be an alpha dog, and he's doing good for them because he don't have Yucky and Dirty that's better than him, or won't let him be better than them.
Yep.
So you get those. I get those dogs that no matter what you do, they'll just fight. They don't like each other. Period.
Yep.
Well, I've got two that they're buddies. They were raised together. Put them in a dog box. It's a fight. So I've got to split them up. But I can put my puppy in there, that 80-pound dog. They're mellowed out.
Know of anyone that runs Smoky River Blue Ticks out west? I believe he had passed away last year, but can't think of his name. He was a younger gentleman. Man, I stay away from a lot of people. I should probably know better, but I got my dogs. I breed my dogs. I hardly get dogs from other people. I need to because Dirty's the father to all my dogs. So I need to get me another male or female.
Yeah. I don't know anything about blue ticks. I don't run straight blue ticks.
No. I think most of your guys out west just run what runs for them. They don't care about color.
Yeah. It works.
Yep. Anyways. Did we get our point across? It's not easy being a houndsman.
Hey, relax out there.
You're as good as you want to be. You're as good as how much time you have. You're as good as how much money you have. You're as good as what your wife or kids allow you to be. It's hard to drag your wife and kids along dry ground hunting.
Yeah, you don't. It's not fun.
No. If you got a wife that wants to drop you off in a canyon and pick you up at the bottom, damn sure marry her.
My wife will do that.
She'll read a book or whatever she is, waiting on you, take a nap, play on her phone.
She'll go dry ground lion hunting with me in Nevada. I asked her to come dry ground lion hunting down here. She's like, no, everything sucks down there. Everything stabs me. Everything
you walk.
Me. Yeah. She's like, everything pokes me. Everything stabs me. The bluffs are 10 times taller. I'm done. I'll pick you up. Don't ask me to go with. Okay.
And I hear, I always hear.
Every time I bring her, rattlesnake. No matter where I take her, Arizona, Louisiana, rattlesnakes.
Mine will go bear hunting with me. because we rig out of the truck. We do a lot of truck hunting, and then I have someone to drive and drop me off if I walk, but I don't. But as far as dry ground, she's like, nah, nope. Not unless we're in the truck running around looking at mines and I hit some canyons, but
Yep.
But anyway. Anything else? You guys got anything to add? Jeremy tried to bail out on us.
Don't do that.
He's probably sleepy. You're wrong, Jared. You're wrong, Jared. It's fun. It's just not action-packed and exciting for the normal people. Now, let's remember this, because right now, he's packing up to take his wife.
Elk hunting.
Coyotes again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what did I say that was wrong? Besides drag-on lion hunting sucks.
That's exactly what. Is the bear seasons out there during the summer? No. We have spring hunts, which are diminishing, and you can't run dogs, and we have the fall hunt. Basically, the fall hunt lasts to 12/31.
Yep.
And it shuts down sometimes in 3 days or a week, and sometimes there's units open right now. Globe.
Yeah.
24A is still open for bear, but if you're running dogs in 24A, there's no roads, and then the roads that are there suck.
Yep. Me and my buddy one time were sitting on a ridge dealing with a jumping lion, and we were sitting there, and I was pissed. I'm like, I'm gonna shoot this stupid lion in the face when we get up there. Like, I'm done. I'm pissed. And we just see the dogs going screaming down the into the canyon, and then screaming up, going up and over it and down the other side. And now we went from being 200 yards from him to 0.7 of a mile from him again. That lion's running. And my buddy just slaps me on the back and he says, embrace the suck. He's like, it's just better if you embrace the suck. It sucked so bad. Like, my legs were shot, his legs were shot. We're tired. It's freaking 80 degrees. We want to be done.
And you enjoy it.
Yeah, and it sucks so bad, and you're with a good friend, It sucks so bad. All you can do is laugh about it. You're like, God, we're dumb. We're just stupid.
And it's like the worst it is, and the worst story you got. It's like that Globe story. I got my mule stuck in a tree. The fork of a tree grabbed her saddle horn, and I couldn't get her out of there. It was horrible. I had no saw. I had to loosen the saddle, and it's horrible. And then when I get out of it and I leave and I get to the bottom of this hill, I realize that my saddlebag that had my $1,000 camera in it is gone, and my phone. For some reason, I had my work phone. Some reason, I called my daughter. I'm like, can you locate my phone? And she says she sent me a pin, and it was right at that stupid fork. I watched my video on my GoPro. You know how small the screens are, and I'm 50 years old. And I don't need glasses because I'm 50 years old, and I'm never getting glasses. And I'm like, well, here it is without the saddlebag, and here it is. It's just the top piece. And it was right at that fork. And when I got home, put it on the screen, I pulled her out of that tree, got her forward, and I seen rip that top saddlebag. It's Velcro, double Velcroed. Yeah. Rip it off, and I seen it roll down the hill. And I just didn't notice it till I tied my mule up, walked back up, and then it's just a bad trip. Lost my wedding ring. I don't know where. It was when I was sleeping. Maybe someone stole off my finger. I don't know. I checked everywhere. I go back there once with my metal detector trying to find it.
Yeah.
I get down to the bottom after I walk back up 600 yards, 600 or 800 yards, back up the hill, get my phone, get my saddlebags, walk back down, get into an area where I'm just walking through this dirty area, and I hear a rattlesnake under me, and I jump like a little girl. And I yank her through. And when she come through, I think she stepped on the head of that rattlesnake, because I heard it, it was rattling, and then it went, you know, when you chop off their
Yeah.
head, they quit right.
Yeah.
Did that. I just like,
Well,
let's
that's a
go,
win.
girl. I didn't even
Yep.
look for it. It was under a bunch of brush. I got on that mule and we went back to the truck. So,
Yep.
and I don't know what we chased. I had dogs go up a hill. Then they scattered on the other side. And, oh man, I just said, let's go. Time
Yep.
to go.
Yep.
What I say about running hounds is we're not in it for the thrill or kill. They're in it for the sound of the hound and watching all the hard work pay off. You guys have a great night and keep hunting. Ugh. The worst advice I ever heard, keep hunting. Best thing I can do is sell everything and be rich.
Right.
I bet you I got $400 or $500 in dog food. Then I got hay, you know, gas,
Oh yeah.
you know, $5,000 worth of collars around their neck.
Yep.
But I enjoy it. Like I said, that hunt I just went on Monday. I know that hunt I went on Monday. I trailed it. I thought I was going to catch it. Got back to the truck. And I just a good time. I think the worst it is, the better. And you survive. If you survive those bad stories, those bad, you know, hunts, it's just a better story. You sit around and tell.
It's
But
a
you're
memory
right.
you make.
You know, I don't have to kill nothing. You know, I don't mind.
Enjoy that part.
Oh, I enjoy it.
I like watching lions fall out of trees and off bluffs. It makes me happy.
I'm just happy to get out.
Well, you're gonna have
One
to come
day.
out here again, Jeremy.
Yep.
I'm coming.
I'm working.
I'm trying to. Matter of fact, I've been pondering coming out next month.
Might as
We'll
well
be here.
Yeah.
Lion will still be open, and there'll still be bear in these areas open.
Well, I ran a bear on Saturday.
The only problem I have is hauling 6 dogs with me by myself, which I can handle them. That's just a worry in the back of your mind.
Yep.
Because I'd like to have had my females out there when I came in August.
Mm-hmm.
But they decided that, well, one of them came in heat. If I'd have known the other one wasn't going to come into heat, I'd have brought her. I'd have ran something. Which I never did give my dogs an opportunity to run a whole hell of a lot.
Well, tell you what, you come down here, they can run almost anything every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably will. You'll be less monkeys and less javelinas for certain.
God, come down here, stay for a month.
You could go down where we hunted, and there's enough roads there. You don't have to worry about losing your dogs too bad.
Yep. No, that's a good area.
I'm still trying that property. I'm going to get it. We're working on it. So,
Heck yeah.
I'm even like, hey, let me lease it. Something.
Right.
Build a little road in there. Let me lease it. Well, guys.
I'm still
come
looking.
on out.
Yep. Come on out.
Come on out.
Just a spot to park.
I got a spot. I got a spot you can park at.
Yeah, don't you got 10 acres up there he could park?
Yep. I even got kennels. I put my dogs up at the house. You can have my kennels.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tie out.
All right.
Any last words?
Sleep in the truck.
There you go.
Or in the tent. Depends on how cold it gets.
Hey.
It's a little chilly at night.
Don't spoil your hound dogs.
Don't do that.
Mine are ruined.
Like Stinker?
Yeah. I got one sleeping on a sheepskin rug out there. He don't even get out of his house now. He just sticks his head out and barks. That's why he ain't been barking tonight. He's normally there at the window watching me.
Yep.
They've lost faith.
If anyone wants a chance to
3 weeks.
If anyone wants a chance to run hounds in Idaho, you have to have your application in by the 1st of December. Also, don't put a second chance on it. Just the first chance statewide.
That'd be a pretty cool place to run.
Thank you for another great show.
But that's steeper than where we were at in Arizona. I don't know about where Tim's at on that western side, but where I went on the east side was vertical.
I hate that stuff. You're just sitting there, all four climbing on up.
That's how
Ask Casey, that's how I was in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I
He's
found
like a
out my
mountain
mule was a loyal mule, because that globe trip taught me a lot about my mule. Got stuck in a tree and she didn't panic. You know, I backed her in a cholla, didn't panic. I went up, slipped, fell between two boulders where she could barely fit through.
Yep.
She didn't step on me. She went around me. So
No, that's a
I
good
like
mule.
her. She ain't big. She's kind of crazy sometimes, but where we hunt isn't bad ground. Guys, got anything else to say? Closers?
Embrace the suck. How about that one?
Embrace the suck.
And don't be dumb.
That's my next shirt, Jared.
and it's all about the dog.
I didn't get my shirt made. It was almost made today, but we had computer problems. Yeah. I'll make another shirt. Embrace the suck.
Yep.
Hound hunting 101. I'll put hound hunting 101. Embrace the suck.
Yep. That's what it is.
All righty, guys.
All right.
Till Wednesday.
Jeremy, Wednesday. I'm trying to get a couple people on, and I really I'm thinking about talking about the number one controversial topic of turning the scent off. Everybody loves it.
We hammer that thing every week.
Yeah, but I have I'm trying to get somebody on to hammer it some more. Some new blood. Some new blood. You know, we won't talk about it the whole time. Just like tonight, we didn't talk about being a houndsman until an hour after. We talked about everything else.
Yep.
Well, you got to go down the rabbit hole first.
Yep.
Get it out of the way.
All righty, guys.
All right. You guys have a good night.
You too. Jeremy, go get some rest so you feel better.
Yep. Yeah. I need
All right,
to go
guys.
hunt, but it's raining.
Come out. Come out.
Yep.
So.
See ya.
All right.
We'll see y'all.
All right. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on, watching another show. Hopefully you didn't stray too far. Wednesday night. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get a new shirt made. Trying to get some people on. Other than that, if you're in Arizona, you want to join the Arizona Working Dog Alliance, go to azwda.com. Fill out your form. When we get it set up, we'll start making some calls. Other than that, keep your powder dry and stay safe out there.